That's a perfect rotation couplet on your screen right there. This is moving northeast at about 40 miles per hour, okay? But notice with that next radar sweep, it's significantly weaker. That being said, if you're in Willow, near Willow, Bunker Hill, Lime Ridge, out towards Ironton, folks, you need to be in that safe spot right now. So northeast, 40 miles per hour. Okay, these are just estimated timelines, right? Lloyd at 3 p.m., Lime Ridge at 3:08, Reedsburg at 3:21, Winfield right around 3:24, Excelsior 3:27, Delona right around 3:31, Lake Delton at 3:38. Need to be in that safe spot, lowest level of the structure you're in, away from exterior windows and walls. Okay, let's jump to our debris tracker to see if we can kind of glean any information from that at this time. Not seeing anything necessarily. Possibly. Let's go back to our velocity data right there. I'm not really seeing anything on the debris tracker at this time. That's the good news. This is the other concern here. This is moving through a very, obviously it's moving through the driftless region, right? So you have all these dips and valleys in the terrain. That is not necessarily going to keep you safe. So if you're sitting there thinking, oh, I'm good to go, I don't need to worry about, we've got the driftless to keep all the really bad storms away from us, that's not the case. Tornadoes can strike anywhere. Doesn't matter what the terrain looks like. It doesn't matter whether it's a big populated city, anything like that. That has nothing to do with it. So if you are watching this and you're saying, oh, we're good to go, we're outside Willow, it's fine, think again. Just get to that safe spot, be safe. Let's see if our debris tracker has any updates. Nope, nothing on that. Our Doppler radar, the other threat with this system was the likelihood of large hail, and you can see that right here as well. Significant hail threat with this system. Okay, and this has kind of gotten a little bit bigger. So right where we're seeing that area of rotation, we're also dealing with a fairly significant threat of hail. This was originally issued as a severe thunderstorm warning because the hail was likely going to be up to ping pong ball sized in kind of strength. And you can see we're getting that darker blue, even purple. So we're getting up to about an inch and a half in diameter, and this is not the type of stuff you want to mess around with. Now, thankfully, again, this hail is significantly smaller than what we dealt with just a few days ago. But all in all, just a significant system altogether. So we have this this tornado warning in effect across portions right now, immediately northeastern Richland County into Sauk County, so northwestern Sauk County. If you know anybody out this way, please shoot a text, give a call. Right now, the rotation couplet is located near Willow. It's headed northeast at 40 miles per hour, out towards Lime Ridge, south of Lavelle, west of Reedsburg. It's moving essentially towards Reedsburg at this point. So if you are in that direct path of the system, if you're anywhere near that, you got to get that safe spot. Okay, folks, and just stay there. Another thing I always tell folks with safe spots, and when you find that safe spot, don't just bring yourself, okay? Bring a pair of gym shoes, tennis shoes, boots, whatever you have. And also, if you have a bike helmet, if you have one sitting in the garage, you haven't used it in a while, grab that as well. Bring it to your safe spot, whether that's a bathroom, a basement, a closet, whatever you're doing. Use that. That's going to keep you safe. And safer than, if you were just, say, worst case scenario occurs and you're walking around, you come out of your house and there's debris about. You don't want to be in bare feet. You don't want to be in socks or slippers, anything like that. Okay? All right, so it looks like we have, do we have a new update from the, yeah, it looks like we have a new, it's not necessarily all that strong. Let's look at our storm relative velocity and see if that gleans any more. Nope, that did not help at all. Okay. So the rotation is fairly weak. That's the good news. The bad news is that makes it a little tougher for us to track this, right? What I will say is let's try to find an exact track of this system. So this was the first near Itasca, just north and west of Itasca. We had some broad rotation, right? So that was originally where we saw some broad rotation, and now we follow that moving northeastward. Let's get an exact track of this system. Okay, if this was to continue on its current path, okay, and we had no wobbles in that line, which can happen, this is essentially where we're looking at the direct path of this area. So from Willow to the areas north of Lime Ridge, near Lavelle, west of Winfield, near 7 Mile Creek. And this, again, these are areas outside of the warning box. But if it kept on its current trajectory that we've seen over the last little bit here, it's actually moving kind of essentially due northeast. So let's follow that line along. Might be some broad rotation potentially in Bunker Hill as well. Maybe a secondary couplet kind of forming here. So you have those brighter greens, again, that's moving toward the radar site. The darker greens moving toward, but not as fast. So it kind of creates this broad rotation. That's what eventually triggered the warning that we're seeing right now. But again, our concerning area is right around Willow, Lime Ridge, beginning to pass in over, looks to be the county border at this time into parts of northwestern Sauk County. So again, 40 miles per hour. And again, this is a slightly changed trajectory from what I originally said, but it's going to be at least an updated timeline on some of the communities in the direct path here. All right, folks, again, estimated times of arrival, okay? 3:10 Lime Ridge, Ironton right around 3:17, Lavelle right around 3:21, Winfield 3:26, 7 Mile Creek 3:34. Again, some of these communities are actually outside of the warning box as well, so you may not have a warning right now, but this is your time to gear up, right? Time to be like, think to yourself, okay, where is my safe spot? Where can I go for the situation? We've had a lot of training this week. Not only is it Severe Weather Awareness Week in the state of Wisconsin, but Mother Nature apparently has made it Severe Weather Awareness Week in southern Wisconsin as well, all week long. So even though you may not be in this warning polygon right now, that might change. The National Weather Service may extend this, so just keep that in mind. So 7 Mile Creek, potential arrival right around 3:34. Linden Station at 3:41. Lemonware right around 3:30 or 43. Hey, Emma, do you have anything from the National Weather Service? Are they giving us any more information on this system? Are they concerned about anywhere else?
Yeah, hey Cam, nothing new with this system from the National Weather Service. One thing they are keeping an eye on, again, not something actively going on in Wisconsin right now, but a little bit of that rotation just along the Illinois state line. It's moving more east and northeast. It's south of Greene County right now. We can see just a little bit of that rotation kind of slowly inching closer, so that could be something to be a little bit more concerned about as we make our way over the next half hour or so. But again, right now, that's not really something that we're tracking in Wisconsin. Just something to keep in mind as we keep moving through the next little bit here. As for that system, yeah, nothing really new from the National Weather Service at this point. Just going to continue to see whether it strengthens, whether it weakens as it continues its way off to the northeast there.
Okay. Yeah, and you know, that's the thing is this is the first warnings of the day today, and we're kind of just gearing up because here's the deal. This is our initial burst of storms. There's a ton of heat at the surface, a lot of humidity as well. But what's happening to our west is a very different setup. We have a cold front to the west, and I probably don't have to show you or tell you, but look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different tornado warnings on this line. We have 1, 2, 3, looks like 5 or 6 severe thunderstorm warnings. Now the real question is, as the evening wears on, will this secondary line, as it pushes eastward along the cold front, as it enters areas that are currently seeing severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings here at home, will these storms use enough of the potential energy to kind of sap the energy from those storms to our west? That's the big question here, because what ends up happening is this storm system moving in the Dane County right now, you know, it's not really all that significant. Excuse me, I have to step off camera really quick here. I always forget to plug in the laptop anytime we do wall-to-wall coverage for severe weather. I just got a low battery notification. We don't want that issue, right? Okay, so, we're watching all these storms roll through, but we have a tornado warning up in parts of Sauk County right now. Many of the storms we're seeing currently aren't really packing. We heard thunder here in Madison and the near west side, but Madison right now not under a warning of any type. That could change later on this evening. I want to jump back because it looks like we have new data returns on this system in Sauk County. We're not having anything. There's very little rotation on. Frankly, I'm not really seeing. There's some broad rotation. Excuse me if I pronounce this incorrectly. Cazenovia, that's where we're seeing the greatest area of rotation. You can kind of see it, a little tough here, just north and east of Highway I, leading into Cazenovia. We'll say County Road G, west of that, right along Wisconsin 58, near County Highway V. Okay, it's that brighter green moving towards our radar site, and again, we're using the La Crosse radar site to the north and west of this system. But the darker green here is an indicator that this brighter green is moving faster than the darker green. And again, with this moving kind of north-northeast, that could be some broad rotation there. Now, we're not seeing anywhere that we're dealing with debris in that area. I don't think we're dealing with any debris in that area. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to take our debris tracker back an hour and see whether or not there's any evidence here. I'm not necessarily seeing anything, which is good. Obviously, we don't want to see any debris. What we're using on our debris signature, if you're just tuning in, we're using our debris tracker. And what this does is when the radar sweeps on through, it not only measures whether or not it's raining or snowing or whatever's happening in the atmosphere, it actually measures the density of the stuff it's sweeping on through. If you're seeing these dark reds, this is heavy rainfall, okay? What we look for when we're tracking tornadoes, when we have a rotation couplet, like we're kind of watching right now on our velocity data there near Cazenovia, what we look for is that sea of red, that dark red, right? Rain. That's all those raindrops are close together. If we see blues or greens inside that sea of red, that means that there's something being lofted into the atmosphere along with that rain that's further apart from each other, whether it's roof shingles, siding, could be wood, could be grass, dirt, but those larger chunks are farther apart from each other. They're not next to each other like raindrops. They're farther apart. So once that sweep comes on through, it measures that density, and that density is lower. And that's what we look for in our debris tracker. Now, right now, we're not necessarily seeing that, and that is good. Okay, it looks like the National Weather Service, did we just see an update for the Sauk County warning?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So not the Sauk County warning that I have been looking at, but what I just mentioned that was just about to cross over the Illinois state line where we were seeing a little bit more of that rotation. It looks like just off to the north of that, closer to the Darlington area, east of Cuba City, we've got a new severe thunderstorm warning from the National Weather Service. That is going to be in effect, it looks like, until... Let's see here.
Until 3:45.
3:45, yes. We've got quarter-sized hail coming down. And then a little bit further north as well, another severe thunderstorm warning right now in effect in northern Juneau County.
Oh, so, I see that as well.
And that one does have a tornado possible tag. Looks like maybe a little bit of a rotation that we're seeing with that one.
Okay. Let's detail these severe thunderstorm warnings really quick here. So the first of these warnings for northern Lafayette County until 3:45. The primary threats from this storm, quarter-sized hail. Doesn't even look like winds are that much of a concern at this time. That is the good news with it. Let's look at our hail tracker right now. We can see on our screen, not really seeing much. You can see a little bit of that hail near Cuba City and Shullsburg, but nothing significant out that way. But we're going to treat this as such. Moving northeast, I believe that was 40 miles per hour exactly. Moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. So a pretty fast moving cell. So we'll go that from Shullsburg, 55 miles per hour. These are some of the communities in the direct path of this latest severe thunderstorm warning. This is for northwestern Lafayette County until 3:45. Darlington 3:28, Willow Springs 3:33, Fayette at 3:38, Waldwick at 3:43, Blanchardville 3:52, Perry 4:01, New Glarus right around 4:07. Now this is a hail maker. Okay, this could generate that hail threat of a quarter size, possibly larger. Hail was obviously a very significant concern this past Tuesday. It's not as large of a concern today. That doesn't mean we're not a little concerned about it. So, moral of the story, if you have a chance to move the car inside, maybe you parked it in the driveway, you want to move it in the garage, go for it. But right now, it looks like quarter-sized hail a possibility for the areas near Shullsburg, moving northeast towards Darlington, Willow Springs, and Fayette in northern Lafayette County. Let's jump back up to that tornado warn system out in northwestern Sauk County right now. We'll pull up our velocity data one more time. There's some good news with this. Emma, you can correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm really not seeing any rotation within this storm. I'll check storm relative velocity as well. I've got nothing.
Yeah, nothing new from the National Weather Service on that lack of rotation, but yeah, you're definitely right. I'm not really seeing much on my end either.
Wonderful, fantastic. Okay, that doesn't mean folks in Sauk County can say, all right, all clear, go outside on the porch, watch the storm coming on through. No, I don't want you to do that because you still have a severe thunderstorm warning with this cell. Also, hail up to potentially dime-sized, penny-sized hail along with this as well. So that's not to say that you're good to go and you don't need to worry about any of this. But please, again, if you can, just stay in that safe spot until the storm passes on by. Northern Sauk County does remain under a severe thunderstorm warning and tornado warning until 3:30 for the severe thunderstorm warning, 3:45 for the tornado warning. Okay? Just stay in that safe spot. Still kind of zooming out, and again, I just want to look at this next line of storms here. You can see just to our west, another tornado warning across portions of central Iowa. This is all gradually marching eastward. What's causing this is a cold front that's interacting with the heat and humidity at the surface. And again, what I said a short bit ago was what'll be interesting is to see whether or not the storms that we're currently dealing with across portions of northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, saps enough of that energy out of the atmosphere. And really quick, I can actually, there's a way we can look at some of this. Okay, we're going to just really quick go away from the warnings for a second. Look at actual air temperatures. Okay, so you have these storms moving on through, and you can see temperatures on the back edge are indeed falling. It's 62 in Mineral Point, 68 in Platteville. What's happening here, though, you have this dry slide. You can see some clearer skies on the leading edge of these storms that are triggering those warnings across parts of southeastern Minnesota as well as Iowa. This is what concerns me, because if we get that sunshine moving back in, temperatures are going to balloon back up 5-10 degrees higher. And then you start talking about temperatures, once again, near 75 to 80 degrees ahead of a cold front, and that will fuel that line of thunderstorms. So that's something that we're going to watch closely over the next little while here. Let's go back to our Doppler now, and we can track that threat of potentially strong to severe storms currently. Let's jump into that. I didn't even talk about the severe thunderstorm warning in northern Juneau County. Let's detail that really quickly. So this latest warning from the National Weather Service for parts of northern Juneau County, let's pull up some information. Also known as northern Adams County as well. 318, moving northeast at 65 miles per hour. This storm is flying. 2-inch hail. So we're talking hail up to a near golf ball sized hail, along with the threat of damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. So let's talk our hail tracker first. You can see near Toma, a pretty decent little hail core there, but again, our data is just showing about dime-sized to penny-sized hail with this. That's again pushing northeast towards the areas north of Necedah, towards Armenia, Remington, Rome, and again, some of these communities aren't even in our area. If you have friends and family up that way, though, shoot them a text, give them a call, let them know what's up. Oh, I see the National Weather Service canceled that tornado warning. Emma, did they detail any of that?
Nothing looks like, no additional messages from them, but yes, they did just cancel that.
Okay. Yeah, see, they cancel it, and then right on the back edge near Lavelle.
Yeah, if you go towards
very minor rotation.
Yeah, I'm looking right now at the Milwaukee radar. It'll be a little bit funky to show on air because we can't really center it. The further that we get from the radar, it'll hop to the lacrosse radar, but you can kind of see that rotation maybe a little bit better off of that radar.
Yeah, if we can switch our pod backdrop there to Max 2, we can get a little bit better information.
Yeah, we might have to
we can't?
stick to Max 1 right now.
Okay. All right, so we can do that later. But essentially, what Emma's talking about is that there's a little bit of rotation there near Lavelle at this time. And as that continues to push northeast, there's no tornado warning for northern Sauk County. There's a severe thunderstorm warning remaining in effect until 3:30. I'm going to wait to let you go. I want to see one more rotation from that radar and another update from our velocity data before I let you go, because we've seen a few times over the last few days here where storms weaken. We let you go, and then another tornado warning is issued like 2 or 3 minutes later. So we're just going to stick with this for a minute and just keep a close eye on it. But again, we have 3 severe thunderstorm warnings currently in effect across the area. We do have a tornado warning just south of the state line. This has been ongoing. National Weather Service is watching this closely and is expected to possibly issue a tornado warning for portions of Greene County, possibly southeastern Lafayette County. Let's have a look at that really quick here. You can kind of see this storm system, how it's progressed over the last several hours. From Thompson, it's a little bit weaker now. Near Rush, Nora, south of Apple River, in parts of far northern Illinois, near Winslow, west of Winslow, Illinois. Believe we are using the Milwaukee radar with this. So again, green moving towards, red moving away, creating that area of broad rotation. Near Nora, that's essentially had the National Weather Service issuing this tornado warning for the areas of northern Illinois. They were kind of watching it closely, thinking that it may extend that up into parts of... Okay, we haven't had an update. It looks like maybe we did have an update to that. Still a little bit of rotation there.
And they did just put out an update that 2 main storms to keep an eye on right now, Cam, are going to be near Portage and northwest Dane County. It looks like those are the 2 causing the most concern right now for the National Weather Service. No warnings on those yet, but you know, just something to keep in mind over the next
so
few
yeah,
radar
you can see
scans.
these 2 cells right here. One near Portage, another near Cross Plains right now. Both storms have no warning on them, but let's see what hail looks like. You can see the hail cores there, south and west of Portage, another west of Cross Plains. These are moving east and part of a much larger system that seems to be bringing that threat over the next little bit here. So obviously we'll be watching that closely. Okay, we're kind of just waiting on... It looks like that storm for parts of Sauk County is essentially north of Sauk County. National Weather Service, yeah, there's really no rotation on it. Okay. We have no ongoing tornado warnings at this time. So I tell you what, before we have any more warnings right now, we're going to let you go, return you to normal broadcasting here. It's currently just before 3:30. Anytime a warning is issued, we'll be on live talking about it, let you know exactly where that storm is headed. But again, keep it here at 27. We're going to have continuing coverage throughout the evening ahead. Our severe weather threat across parts of southern Wisconsin lasting up until about 7, 8 o'clock this evening. So another 4.5 to 5 hours. So it's important that you remain weather aware during that stretch. We'll have you covered throughout the night ahead, both Emma and myself in the Weather Center. Keep it here at 27 for continuing coverage on these storms as they progress across the area. Over the last little bit here, and we're going to get kind of a trajectory on this storm system for you. Moving northeast, okay? These are kind of the areas of concern, all right? So this is the line that it's currently followed for the last, let's say, about half an hour here. So likely passing over the state line within the next 10 minutes south of Twin Grove, north of Rock Grove, right along the state line. This will be just west of County Road S, south of County Road K. Okay, this is right along the state line passing northeast. It looks like it will go directly, or if it keeps its current trajectory, near Oakley, near Spring Grove, eventually passing over County Road G, moving in over portions that would be Route 104? Route 104. Okay, this is southern and southeastern Greene County. It's moving northeast again at 35 miles per hour. So let's go with our little cone here. These are the areas in the direct path, okay? If you are near any of these communities, if you know anyone who lives in these communities, near these communities, please shoot them a text message. Let them know a storm is headed their way. But if you're anywhere near these locations, please, again, seek shelter immediately. That's safe spot. That's the lowest level you're in, away from exterior windows and walls. The lowest level being a basement. Storm cellar will be best case scenario. Second best, that first floor, right? So we're talking inner hallways, closets, washrooms, okay? Rock Grove, 417. Oakley, right around 423. Lake Somerset, right around 426. Laona, right around 428. Broadhead, 434. Newark, right around 440. So this is another system that, again, is bringing that threat of tornadic rotation. Let's jump back to our debris tracker, see if we can glean any information there. Yeah, Emma, what's going on? Oh, I see that. Okay, so we have another tornado warning in Grant County. Let's bring this up. And next time Emma's speaking, can we bring Emma's microphone up as well? Emma was talking about a tornado warning for Grant County. Let's get some information on this. This was just issued. So the National Weather Service issuing until 4:45 a tornado warning for most of southern, southeastern, and central Grant County. System is moving northeast at around 40 miles per hour. Let's look at our velocity data, and we can see again that area of rotation. It's a little broader than our cell in parts just south of Greene County. You can see what we're talking about here. And again, this is we're using the La Crosse radar. So again, green's moving toward, darker's moving away. So if you're in Burton right now, you need to be in your safe spot. If you are near Potosi, Rockville, Hurricane, Ellenboro, safe spots immediately, folks. Let me pull up some, let me pull back on this and see if we have that area of rotation, if there's any history here. Yeah, there's a little bit. So this is moving northeast at about 35 miles per hour. There's less of a defined trajectory. So we're just going to go with this, okay? We're going to use our little cone tool. This is going to give us a general idea. And again, I'm going to go over these towns. I'm going to name a bunch of towns. If anything sounds familiar, if your ears perk up, because that's near where you live, get to that safe spot, right? Rockville, 418. Ellenboro at 426. Anneton, right around 439. Livingston, right about 444 this early evening. That's another tornado warning that is in effect until 4:45 for a good chunk of Grant County. So we have two separate tornado warnings as of right now that we're currently tracking across the area. Let's jump back to our Greene County tornado warning. That is now sitting just northeast of Orangeville, just south of the state line. I'm going to circle on your screen the area in which I am most concerned for, right here, okay? That's where we're most concerned. So this is headed kind of following that same trajectory we were talking about a little bit ago. Again, just a pretty well-organized rotation couplet there. Let's see if we have any debris on this debris tracker. Nothing on the debris tracker. Maybe, let's see here. Watching the area near Clarno as well. I'm seeing the greatest rotation possibility. Again, this bright green next to the red here. But this might be a secondary couplet just south of Clarno near Oenica. And that may also be generating some broader rotation at this time. So two areas that we're kind of watching, but again, primarily the one cell moving northeast again. Let's follow this back and we can get that trajectory going again. We'll get that whole trajectory line going. This is essentially the same trajectory we were talking about a little bit ago. So if you're in Spring Grove, this is essentially making a beeline for your community. Likely staying south of Twin Grove as it passes over the state line, just south of Twin Grove, passing over, a little tough to see there, County Road S over the next, I would say, 10 minutes or so, near Oakley, out towards Spring Grove. That is the current trajectory of this area of concern. That's not to say, if you're in Twin Grove and say, oh, well, Cam just told me the storm's going to stay to my south, this could wobble very easily. A little bit of the north, a little bit of the south. Just because it's held one trajectory doesn't mean that it will stay on that trajectory. So if you're in Twin Grove, you need to be in that safe spot as well, or anywhere near any of these communities. If you're near Wisconsin 11, if you're east of Monroe, south and east of Monroe, especially southeast of Monroe, you better be in that safe spot, folks. You do not want to be caught with this type, especially considering how strong this rotation couplet is, how organized it is. Not the type of storm you want to mess around with. Let's jump back to that tornado-warned storm out in Grant County. Emma, do you have anything from the National Weather Service? Have they kind of updated anything? Are they watching anything closely at this time?
Yeah, nothing new from the National Weather Service right now. I think from my end, what I'm seeing, the tightest rotation that we are talking about is that one in southern Greene County.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we've got those tornado-warned storms both in Greene County and Grant County, but severe thunderstorm warning also just went out due to some large hail that's reported, a little bit over an inch. So right now it looks like that is in effect for parts of Iowa, Dane, Greene, and Lafayette counties. Of course, again, those tornado-warned storms going to be the most important ones to keep an eye on over the next half hour or so, but it is 4:15 p.m. We do have a very prime environment for severe weather right as we head into that evening commute. So, yeah, if you have anyone who's about to head home in this area, whether it's those tornado-warned storms or the areas where we're seeing that hail, it looks like right now that's primarily over the Dodgeville area. Definitely not a bad idea to shoot them a text, let them know what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And always communication, right? We always want to keep everybody we know safe. Obviously, I think it was on Wednesday or Tuesday, there was a tornado warning for where my wife and kids were, and I wanted to shoot them a text message really quick. I had Tanner take over for a short bit because you want to keep those folks, you want to keep everyone close to you safe, right? The National Weather Service has just issued a severe thunderstorm warning. Check this out for essentially all of Iowa County, the northern half of Lafayette County, the western parts of, Dane County, and northwestern parts of Greene County. That goes until, I believe, 4:45. Let me double check here. It's a very large severe thunderstorm warning. The concern is half-dollar size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. It's this line specifically. I'm going to kind of circle it on your screen right here. This line specifically that the National Weather Service is kind of concerned about. From Mount Horeb out towards Mifflin, that line's moving. What's our trajectory here? I don't have it. Northeast at 55 miles per hour. So relatively fast-moving storm system. Kind of a weird shaped storm, too. We're just going to kind of go through it. And that's moving northeast at, we'll just call it east, at 55 miles per hour here. So this is a pretty fast-moving system. And these are just, again, timelines. This is the potential for half-dollar sized hail, so still large, significantly smaller than what we dealt back with on Tuesday. That doesn't mean you shouldn't pull the car on if you can't. Mineral Point essentially on top of you right now. Springdale at 433, Verona 437, Fitchburg 445, Oregon right around 453 with that severe thunderstorm warning. But again, in addition to multiple severe thunderstorm warnings right now, we do have those 2 tornado warnings on your screen currently. One down in southern Greene County, another in Grant County. The rotation couplet out in Greene County, a little bit stronger. We just detailed that before that warning was issued. So I'm going to jump over to Grant County really quick here. I just want to make sure folks out that way kind of know what's headed their way. And this looks a lot more organized now, Mo. You can see, again, we use our lacrosse radar out this way, so bright greens moving toward, red moving away. You can see where the green and red meet on your screen. That is our very well-defined rotation couplet right here on your screen. So that is west of Route 61, south of Lancaster, east of Hurricane, west of Ellenboro. So this is moving, let me get again a trajectory for this. And you can see the National Weather Service just altered that tornado warning to only include that portion of it. We have another, what looks to be a little bit of a rotation couplet out toward Livingston on the leading edge of that warning box as well. So we'll keep it a close eye on that. Let me just pull this information up from the National Weather Service. This is moving northeast at about 40 miles per hour. So we'll use our little cone tool. Northeast 40 miles per hour. So we're talking, again, we're talking Ellensboro right around 424, Anneton right around 437, 442 Livingston, Mifflin 446, Linden right around 454. At this time. So that's that cell out in Grant County. Again, if you are anywhere near any of the communities I just mentioned, please get to that safe spot immediately. All right, area of rotation getting the pass on over, kind of exactly where we had it. Again, a little difficult to see now, just looking at this. Okay. Looks to be just south of Twin Grove. Okay, folks, this is where we're watching. So this kind of jogged a little bit to the east. And again, this is what I was talking about. I was saying originally that that trajectory kept south of Twin Grove. This is essentially tracking directly over Twin Grove. You need to be in that safe spot, folks, because this can wobble ever so slightly here and there. It looks like we may have some additional areas of concern kind of embedded within this as well. Areas west of Twin Grove. You can see kind of multiple. I'm going to circle everything on your screen right here that I'm kind of watching specifically. So let's say right here, maybe a third one right here. So we have all these little kind of vortices riding northeast towards north of Clare now, near Twin Grove. This is pushing northeastward at about 40 miles per hour. Let's get the information from the National Weather Service again. Northeast at about 35 miles per hour. So let's zoom out. We'll go from that main rotation couplet again that we've been kind of watching. Okay. These are some of the areas in the direct path. Oakley at 427, Spring Grove 431, Broadhead at 440. Let's go from that secondary rotation couplet we've kind of been talking about. Moving northeast at about 35 miles per hour. Probably going to see, Broadhead. This one at about 442, so well more than enough time with that. But again, just watching multiple tornado warnings on your screen. A little tough to see them with how much is going on. Just very active, to say the least, here over the last several hours, and even more so over the next little bit here. Emma, you see anything either on social media with the National Weather Service? Are they updating anything at this time?
Yeah, so a couple of quick comments from the National Weather Service. The first about that storm making its way again into southern Greene County, where we do have that tornado warning. This supercell has lasted for quite a long time. It's lasted for basically the entire width of Wisconsin. It was just below or south of the Illinois state line. So it is kind of expected that it's going to continue to cycle and continue into Rock County. So something to think about if you're in the Rock County area. And then another thing that they did also bring up is that off towards that tornado warned storm in Grant County, when we take a look at what that radar loop looks like with reflectivity, we kind of start to see a little bit of a line form. And if you've been keeping up with the forecast, then you know that we were kind of talking about maybe a second round with more of a line of storms setting up. So we're all kind of interested to see if this is the beginning of that kind of line formation.
Okay. Yeah, and that's kind of what we're seeing, because the leading edge of the cold front right now is essentially from Eau Claire down to Manchester, right? And that's all gradually marching eastward. That's what all these storms are firing up, right, over the last little while. That's where we're seeing that storm system. Here, we'll throw this map in motion. Well, a little tough to see with all the lightning. This is our cold front, okay? There's your cold front right there. It's a little broken. You can see some of these storms kind of extending ahead of that cold front. That's when you get that damaging wind threat. But you can see right here is the back edge of that cold front. As that marches across, it's going to run into, again, an environment that has a lot of heat, a lot of humidity. What really needs to be seen, however, over the next couple of hours is whether or not we are looking at any kind of weakening of these systems because of the storms that came earlier. And thus far, doesn't necessarily look like we're seeing that, at least at this time. So let's jump really quick. Madison does not have a warning specifically. Western Dane County has a severe thunderstorm warning. This is that $50 sized hail potential. It's a very large warning, including parts of Iowa, Lafayette, as well as Greene counties. Madison right now, if you're in Madison, you're wondering, why is this guy on air? I don't have anything. It's raining. Yeah, you got some drizzle in Madison, but considering what's headed towards the state capitol's way over the next little bit, things going to get awfully bumpy very quickly here. So just best to be safe. Again, stay hunkered down. If you can avoid traveling, say between now and, it's Friday night, it's 4:30 almost. I would say between now and 7 o'clock, if you can stay off the roads, you're going to be pretty good. After 7 p.m., the majority of those storms, for at least the majority of the area, will have subsided. Eastern parts east of Madison by about 7 o'clock should be still seeing chances of showers and thunderstorms. But all in all, just again, use extra caution today and just be safe with the types of storms that we are indeed seeing. Let's jump back to that Greene County tornado warning. Emma was just talking about the threat. It looks like we may have, let's look. That looks like a little, Emma, what do you think about this? So there's a little broad rotation south of Spring Grove, and when we look at our debris tracker, there looks like there might be a little bit of something there.
Yeah.
Passing what is County Road G. It's not necessarily defined, but what do you think?
I'm definitely seeing what you're talking about, but one thing that the National Weather Service did just actually mention about that cell is that rotation is actually weakening. And so it looks like they are going to issue a severe thunderstorm warning headed into Rock County. However, there is going to be a tornado possible tag, so that's not to say that we can't see it strengthen again a little bit later. If you're in Rock County and you're hearing that, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are in the clear, but that's where the National Weather Service is standing on that currently.
Yeah, that is the remnants of that original storm that triggered the tornado warning. You can see that area of rotation kind of moving towards Spring Green. What piques my interest here is, yeah, we're not really seeing much of that rotation any longer, but our debris signature is showing at least something. So again, when we use our debris signature tool, our radar measures a ton of things when it sweeps through, right? Not only does it measure how hard the rain is falling, not only how fast the winds are moving, but also measures the density of whatever it sweeps through. And that density can change. If you see these darker reds, or what's essentially a sea of red here behind me, you can see a lot of these reds. That's rainfall, right? That's heavy rain falling down. Rain droplets are small, they're very close together. It's a high density of product that is falling through the sky. However, if, say, a tornado comes through and picks up dust, dirt, roof shingles, siding, wood, debris of some sort, all of that, if that's lofted into the atmosphere and that radar sweep comes on through, that's going to be sweeping across things that are a little further from each other, right? Pieces of wood aren't, right on top of each other. When they're flying through the air, they're far apart from each other. And that reads that lower density. So when it reads lower density like that, it changes those colors. It goes from red to yellow, eventually green, white, and blue. And you can see, again, this is a little bit of an older sweep here from our radar. But just south of Spring Grove, we have that red. We have a little bit of a density change in that debris signature. So, yeah, this system as a whole seems to be weakening. But there's something there still, though. There's a little rotation still embedded within that system that I don't necessarily love to see. You can see the National Weather Service, again, electing to extend that as a severe thunderstorm warning now. Let's get that information up really quick here. Severe thunderstorm warning, this would be for Rock County. So the majority of Rock County, you can see the far northern and northwestern parts of Rock County not under this. So Evansville, technically no severe thunderstorm warning for you, but the rest of the county essentially has that severe thunderstorm warning. And the threats are 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail, so you're run-of-the-mill severe thunderstorm warning with this system. Now this warning goes until 5:30 this evening, so another about hour. The system is moving east at about 40 miles per hour. Let's talk about that hail threat on this right now. Going back and look at that. That is a hail core. This is fairly reminiscent of what we dealt with the other day, right?
Hey, Cam.
Yes.
Just real quick before you get into the hail, we do have another tornado warning going in for Dodge County. It's the very southwestern corner. You can see a little bit of a velocity couplet on there that the National Weather Service is keeping an eye on. It looks like that's going to be in effect until 5:15.
Okay, big chunk of Dodge County. Okay, and that includes Beaver Dam. So we have this third tornado warning so far for our area. Let's jump into it, right? Let's get this information from the National Weather Service. You can see, again, that box, again, this is just north of the Waterloo area. So if you're anywhere north and east of Waterloo, Shields, Lowell, Clyman, Juneau, Beaver Dam, safe spots now, folks. You're hearing those sirens, you need to be in the safe spot. Okay, so southwestern Dodge County until 5:15. This is radar indicated, so this is not confirmed. Not a confirmed tornado on the ground. So if we're looking at radar indicator, let's jump to our velocity data. And yeah, that's a pretty decent little couplet right there. Again, we are using our radar site in Jefferson County for this, which is essentially southeast. So red moving away, green moving toward, again, creating that counterclockwise spin that is reminiscent of tornadic rotation. Let's see if our debris ball has anything. There's nothing really, and this is normally what we look at, right? Normally, if you have just rain, you get this kind of purpley red, very dark red. And if you get a debris ball or debris signature coinciding with a rotation couple, it tends to look usually like a light blue or a dark blue circle in that field of red. So right now there is no debris, which means we do not have any confirmation of a tornado on the ground, but we certainly have a tornado warning and a good amount of rotation. Emma, these storms are rotating like crazy, and it's because we have a very strong upper level jet stream up top. It's kind of a similar setup to Tuesday, but instead of that hail, we're seeing more of a tornadic threat this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we could even see it earlier as those showers rolled through. We saw a lot of that rain being pushed out ahead of the stronger thunderstorms. So likely if you were on that western edge of the state, you probably just saw that start off as some light rainfall before we actually saw the thunderstorms get going. And that's really, really indicative of kind of that wind shear, or winds being a little bit faster or slower at different levels in the atmosphere. And that's going to always add to our severe weather threat.
Yeah, another thing I want to talk about with this storm, not only do we use our velocity data and our debris data to track potential rotation in a tornado, we also can use our reflectivity, just our normal radar, because what we look for on our velocity is that green and red next to each other, right? But if you see what's called an inflow notch coinciding with rotation, that can lead to, or at least be at least more evidence to a stronger area of rotation. And you can kind of see we have this kind of circular part on the back edge of a supercellular thunderstorm, and you have this little, oh goodness, that's a pretty decent little comma on the back edge of a storm. You have this little notch inside, that's the inflow. That's where the storm is actually pulling warm air from the surface, driving it up into the center and upper levels of the storm, twisting it as it occurs. Let's look at our velocity data again. It hasn't updated yet. Our debris signature, nothing yet. But I don't necessarily love that we're getting this little hook on the back edge. Normally, with these types of storms, you see them kind of form on the southwestern edge of a supercellular thunderstorm, but this is moving a bit more north-northeast, so it's forming a little bit on the far back edge of this storm system here. So we're seeing that potential hook on the back edge of a tornado-warned storm is not something you necessarily want to see. So again, folks, if you are anywhere near any of these communities that I'm about to mention, please be in that safe spot immediately, okay? Moving northeast, I believe it said 35 miles per hour. You know what, before I actually read off anybody, I want to just double check to make sure. Moving northeast at 25 miles per hour, okay. So a little bit slower. So we'll go 25 miles per hour. And I'm going to include a few communities that might not be on this list. Okay, so Reesville at 446, safe spot right now. Lowell 452, Leipzig right around 458. If you're in Elba, if you're in, I understand Shields is not a part of this tornado warning at this time. Away from exterior windows and walls. Beaver Dam, folks, that's Juneau, safe spot, okay? That's lowest level, away from exterior windows and walls, basement, storm cellar, crawl space, that's your best bet. If you don't have that, you're like myself, you don't have a basement, that's okay. Stay on that first floor, interior portion of it. So inner hallway, closet, a washroom without an exterior window. Those are going to keep you safe in a situation like this as well. Another thing, and I always tell kids this whenever I go and do a school talk, but adults are the same as children, especially when it comes to severe weather. We're all a little concerned about it, right? Before you get to that safe spot, especially if you have 10, 20-minute heads up, you're watching us on social media, you're watching us on our app, whatever you're doing, before you get to that safe spot, grab yourself a pair of gym shoes or tennis shoes or boots and throw them on. Also, grab yourself, do we have another tornado warning or is that a severe thunderstorm warning?
We just got severe thunderstorm warning.
Okay.
Looks like this one is in the McFarland area, headed northeast towards Cottage Grove, Deerfield, Marshall.
Okay. And we'll get to that here in a second. But as far as, again, getting to that safe spot, grab yourself tennis shoes, boots, whatever it is, gym shoes, because if there is indeed debris, something worst case scenario happens, you're not walking around in your slippers, your socks, your flip-flops, right? Also, we're a large biking community in southern Wisconsin. If you have a bike helmet, maybe you even haven't used it in years, but it's just hanging in the garage, go grab it really quick. Throw it on your head. You're going to feel silly, but at least having some sort of layer of protection between you and any debris on your head, also, again, keeping you safe in that situation. Okay, folks? All right, let's talk about that severe thunderstorm warning really quick. We'll go back to our Doppler radar. See that warning again, a pretty decent warning here. This is near Stoughton and McFarland. Let's get some information from the National Weather Service really quick. Again, you're seeing just supercellular thunderstorms feeding off this heat and humidity. According to the National Weather Service, this is generating the threat of damaging straight-line wind, quarter-sized hail. It's moving northeast at about 30 miles per hour. Pretty decent cell at this time. Let's get that off screen really quick here. Let's fix that one more time here. So pretty decent cell moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. These are the communities in its direct path. Okay, if you are in Cottage Grove, Christiana, Deerfield, Lake Mills, Milford, this storm system, again, severe thunderstorm warning is headed in your direct path. Okay, so Cottage Grove 4:43, you have about a 5 to 8 minute heads up. Christiana at 4:47, about 12 minutes before this system reaches you, at least the center of the system. Now again, you can see some of this heavier rain already reaching, say, Cottage Grove, the areas near Christiana and Deerfield, but it's the area that heaviest rain, likely hail core associated with this as well. Lake Mills at 5:10, Milford at 5:17. Let's go back and see our hail tracker and see if we can glean any information from that really quick. There's some hail there. It's over Lake Ngasa right now. Lake Ngasa pushing northeast out towards Pleasant Springs, south of Door Creek. It's not as impressive as I thought it was going to be, but that doesn't mean you're in the clear. Again, if you're anywhere near what I was talking about, oh, that's that tornado warning that we were already talking about. Let's jump back to that really quick. See if we have any velocity data there. That rotation it's still there. It's not as strong. But let's jump back to see what's going on. Parts of southeastern Greene County technically still has a tornado warning. I'm not seeing evidence of a tornado warning there. Let's jump back over to Grant County. Looks like maybe out towards Livingston, some areas of rotation. Let's see if any debris. Nothing on our debris tracker. Okay, so we still do, again, have 3 tornado warnings technically in effect. One for southeastern Grant County, or southeastern Greene County. That goes technically for another, let's see here. When's the Greene County warning expire? May have expired. 4:45. Another 7 or so minutes. We have the Grant County warning. That goes for another. Is this 4:45 as well? Yeah, another 7 or so minutes. So we're still dealing with these warnings until about 4:45 at least, and then again we have the Dodge County warning that remains in effect until 5:15. So starting to see that tornado warning out in Dodge County, it's weakening slightly. Has National Weather Service out in Milwaukee, Emma, said anything about the weakening rotation there?
I do not believe anything about the Dodge County
Sweet.
storm. They did mention the Greene County storm, though, really losing that rotation
Great.
a little bit.
Good.
So likely going to see that stick as a severe thunderstorm warning for Rock County area. Yes, but nothing quite yet on that Dodge County system that we're keeping an eye on.
Okay, so Dodge County, not getting any information right now out of the National Weather Service. We're seeing some broad rotation. Storm relative doesn't necessarily help us either. If I had to put it anywhere, it'd be near Elba. Let's see if I can track that back. Yeah, if I had to put that area of concern anywhere, it'd be south and east of Elba, south of Wisconsin 16, west of Reeseville. It's very broad. Again, you can see the brighter reds, the darker reds right here. This was definitely a far more impressive rotation signature just about 5 to 10 minutes ago, but certainly still worth watching. If you're near Elba, anywhere within this warning box, Elba, Lowell, where else we have here? Astico, Beaver Dam, Juneau, Kleiman, you need to be in that safe spot at this time. But again, that system has, that thunderstorm in general, you can see, Emma, has absolutely weakened significantly at this point. So that doesn't necessarily look as concerning as it did. I'd be interested to see if National Weather Service may even just cancel that warning altogether. Looks like that system out, we have a warning for, it looks like Columbia and Sauk County. National Weather Service issuing a severe thunderstorm warning for these areas until 5:30. And this is an extension of that same storm that triggered the warning for portions of Dane County, Sauk County before. Again, this is all moving northeast. 60-mile-per-hour winds, quarter-sized hail moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. So let's pull this up again. This is our line of thunderstorms here out in portions of Dane County, and it is moving fairly quickly here now. You can see some of the communities in this direct path. This is, again, damaging wind threats for Mazomanie, likely reaching you about 453, Highland at 454, Sauk City 503, Lake Wisconsin 514, Poignette right around 517. And again, that's a damaging wind threat as a whole. And you can kind of see, again, as we just kind of zoom out a little quick, you can see this has just been active. We had that initial burst of thunderstorms pass on through parts of southern Wisconsin beginning around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And since then, it has been an onslaught of just multiple thunderstorms. And you can see we have essentially 3 separate lines of thunderstorm activity kind of lining up across our region. Check this out. You have this cluster of thunderstorm activity, and that tornado warning for Dodge County has officially dropped off. Emma, kind of like what we thought there.
Yep. Yeah, I was going to say, well, you've got it all kind of zoomed out there. Just a couple things of note from the National Weather Service. Them just kind of confirming what we've already gone over, Cam. That Dodge County tornado warning has now expired. They've decided to cancel that because of the weakening. And then in Grant County, looks like they are not canceling that tornado warning. They're just going to let it expire at 4:45 in about 3 minutes. But they are noting that that has weakened, so no plans to really extend that anymore.
No plans to extend that currently. We ran into this with Wednesday a little bit, where the National Weather Service was coming out and saying we don't have plans to extend it. So after that warning is canceled, we would drop off coverage, but then 2-3 minutes later we had another warning that would pop up. So what we're going to do this evening is, once those warnings are canceled, we're going to stick with that severe weather coverage for just a few minutes, just to double check to make sure another radar sweep or two, radar update doesn't necessarily say otherwise, and maybe we get a quick spin up, right? So just to keep, especially how volatile these storms can be and will continue to be over the next little while here. Certainly not the type of system you want to fool around with. We want to make sure everybody's kind of up to date and knows what's going on. So once those warnings are canceled, again, we have 2 tornado warnings for our area specifically until 4:45, both in southeastern Greene County, another out in Grant County. Both of those will be canceled in the next 2 minutes. But what we'll do here is just continue to stick with them for maybe the next 5 or so minutes, 6 minutes or so, and then we can return everybody to Wisconsin News Now. But until then, we're going to kind of stick with these warnings. And again, just multiple severe thunderstorm warnings right in the middle of the area as well. Let's jump back down to Rock County, where that cell that was originally triggering tornado warnings has now essentially turned just into a severe thunderstorm warning. You can still see south of the state line a fairly significant, this has kind of been the ongoing story. We've had supercellular thunderstorms essentially just hugging the state line with Illinois and Wisconsin, triggering tornado warning after tornado warning for parts of northern Illinois. And we've seen that once, tornado warning for portions of Greene County. But aside from that, this cell has essentially just hung out across the far northern reaches of Illinois. So let's look at those two, that severe thunderstorm warning in parts of Rock County. Again, heavy rainfall, wind gusts in excess of 60 miles per hour, also dealing with that hail threat as well. Let's pull up our hail right now, and you can see hail primarily to our south and west. And you can see that again across the state line near Durand, Rock Run. These areas seeing inch and a half in diameter hail.
Yeah, Cam, right now that looks to be the greatest hail threat that we're tracking. We are expecting that to move into southern Rock County eventually.
Okay.
But from my end, what I'm seeing, it does kind of seem to be weakening. When we take a look at the velocity tracker, and again, this is all still just south of the Illinois state line. It looks south of Broadhead. But when we take a look at that loop, you can actually kind of see that velocity couplet losing its strength. So, of course, you know, as it enters into Wisconsin, it's going to be a different environment. But that being said, you know, will we see that continue into Rock County? A little bit up in the air right now.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the case, right? We've seen a lot of activity just south of the state line. Nothing necessarily. We had the tornado warning. We have a few severe thunderstorm warnings being issued over the last little while here. But as far as the worst of that, a lot of that activity has kind of just stayed south of the state line. Another thing we're talking about, and again, 445 has now come and gone, so those tornado warnings officially dropping off throughout our area, at least southern Wisconsin. What I do want to talk about really quick is the amount of rainfall that we're receiving here. Tons of rain once again. You can see heavy rainfall totals, especially across portions of Grant and Grant as well as Lafayette, Greene counties, at least 2+ inches. Anywhere you're seeing yellow on your screen, that's at least 2 or more inches of rainfall. Flooding has already been a significant concern across portions of the state over the last several days. We've seen a ton of rainfall, not to mention all the flooding going on in Milwaukee that we've seen. And there's more on the way, right? So anywhere you're seeing green on your screen is about 1 inch or more. Anywhere you're seeing yellow on your screen is up to 2+ inches of rainfall. So flash flooding very much a concern as well. And you can see a few flash flood warnings, one for southern Lafayette County, another out towards parts of northwest Illinois and far eastern Iowa as a part of the system. So we continue to see that threat of tornadic activity as well. But at this point, the National Weather Service has officially dropped the tornado warnings from our area. We have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings currently still in effect. But as long as our newscast can continue, we will do that. So at 4:47, we will return everybody to our normal Wisconsin News Now. Lacrosse radar here, so it's that area of green moving toward the radar, red moving away. So this is our area of concern north of Cutler. So if you're north of Cutler, near Findlay, Armenia, Strong's Prairie, you need to be in your safe spot immediately. Let me pull up some information from the National Weather Service at this time. This warning is for Juneau and Adams County until 5:30. It is moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. So just really quick here, let's pull up and see who's in the direct path of this. Might just be a few communities here, but I will tell you this. If you're anywhere near the communities I'm highlighting on screen, or you know anybody near these communities, Sprague at 5:08, so that is about a 10 to 11 minute heads up there. Armenia at 5:18, Monroe Center at 5:22. Again, Juneau, Adams County, at least northern Juneau and Adams County, under a tornado warning. This goes until 5:30. Another thing I wanted to watch closely, and this was a severe thunderstorm warning in portions of Dane County. It looks like it may be a little weaker. I was just watching a severe thunderstorm warning, and there was some broad rotation kind of embedded within it out towards Cottage Grove, Deerfield, Christiana. That looks like that's no longer a concern, which is good. We obviously don't like to see any of that rotation, but there was some brief rotation there out towards the Cottage Grove region that I was going to highlight for everybody. Possibly some broad rotation near Nora and Deerfield right now. Doesn't really look all that significant, but just a little concerning. And in fact, the National Weather Service taking that cell and extending a severe thunderstorm warning from it. So let's cover that real quick. This is brand new. The National Weather Service just issuing a severe thunderstorm warning. This is for portions of Dane County as well as Jefferson counties. This goes until 5:15. What we're looking at primarily is the threat of quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. You can kind of see, again, it's this brighter green right here. That's our wind threat, but it is moving essentially unilaterally all of it moving northeast away from that radar site. And so we're getting more of a straight line wind threat than a rotation threat with that. That's the good news. If we go back to our hail tracker, let's see if we have any hail core with this. Quarter-size hail is a possibility. We're not seeing anything on the hail tracker right now. But again, if you're anywhere near this system, again, this is eastern Dane County, northeastern Dane County, out towards Cottage Grove, Marshall, Deerfield, Krogville, moving northeast at about 25 miles per hour. So again, going out, pushing northeast. Again, not necessarily the fastest moving storm. This could also generate that threat of potential flooding as well. So flooding concern very much a possibility as well. So looking at Deerfield at 5 o'clock, essentially on top of you right now, the strong winds, the heavy rainfall, plenty of lightning associated with this as well. Marshfield at 5:12, St. Paul Evangelical right around 5:21. This is 5:21 at Waterloo as well. 5:22 at Waterloo Urgent Care. So just highlighting a couple locations and cities on that. Emma, there's a little bit of something here out towards Deerfield. It's not much, but
yeah,
there might be some broad rotation there as well. This is kind of what I was looking at before we saw the tornado warning in northern Juneau and Adams County. I was getting ready to kind of just tell our producer really quick, hey, I want to jump on and talk about this storm system because there was a little bit of rotation in the eastern Dane County. So I tell you what, just as a precautionary measure, folks, if you're near Deerfield, if you're near London, Cottage Grove Road, south of 94, but east of Wisconsin 73, if you're north and east of Nora, if you're north of Route 12, east of Madison and southeast of Deerfield near London, I just want you to get that safe spot, okay? There's no tornado warning on your screen right now, but just to be safe, overcautious, little extra caution never hurt anybody at this time. So let's jump back up to that tornado warned storm up in Juneau Adams County. Getting some new information on that. Let's pull up our debris tracker, see if that's pulling up anything. Not really seeing. You got this little guy right here. This little area potentially of. It's similar but different. And it's right along where we're seeing that area of rotation as well. So area rotation essentially right here on your screen, and then we move to our debris tracker, and it's right in the middle of that circle. So watching this, I wouldn't call this evidence of a tornado on the ground, but at least it's piquing our interest at this time. So, and then on the south end of this, you have these bright reds. That's some very strong winds as well, just north of Necedah with that system. So just keep that in mind. Just a little bit on the bumpy side, northern Juneau and Adams County. Gosh, this map is an absolute mess. The amount of severe thunderstorm warnings, flood warnings, flash flood warnings. We've had tornado warnings. Ooh, we do have a tornado warning just to the south and west of Grant County as well. Technically not in our area, obviously, but we've been watching storms come out of the Dyersville area essentially all day long. You see another tornado warning there out towards Cascade, south of Worthington, Iowa, pushing east-northeast. So if that holds together, that could trigger a tornado warning for portions of Grant County, say within the next 45 minutes to an hour or so. The only tornado warning we have on our screen right now is that Juneau Adams County, so we're going to stick with that at least until that reaches the areas north and east of Armenia and Strong's Prairie. We might let things go after that point. But looking at southern Rock County right now, you can see out towards Beloit. If you're in Beloit, you could be talking about not only a damaging wind threat, but a fairly decent hail threat at this time. Let's bring up that hail. Yeah. If you're near the state line, near Beloit, you can see a significant hail core. Check this out. Those brighter purples, we're talking 2-inch diameter hail, maybe even a little red in there. So Harrison and Sherland, south of the state line, headed towards Rockton, potentially Beloit. This is a significant hail core Probably one of the more significant ones we've seen throughout the day today. Let's get a kind of track on this system. We'll go the last hour or so on this and see where this is headed. And kind of see that moving in from Dakota and Rock Run. Yeah, I would say this is going to clip the south end. South Beloit, just south of the state line. Rockton, this could absolutely roll up I-43 near Clinton. Fox Hollow, if it holds together. Darien, Bardwell. Just get ready. If you have the chance, if you're in any one of even Beloit at this time, it's probably pouring in Beloit. But if you're in any one of those communities I just told you and your car's parked outside, you can bring that in. Now's the time to do it. You've got about a 10 to 20 minute heads up depending on where you are into parts of southeastern Rock County and the southwestern Walworth County. I would say it's time to move that car inside. Right now, Janesville, for the most part, and the surrounding communities in Rock County look pretty good. But if you're near Beloit, that's also a tornado-warned storm as well. So we're going to see if the National Weather Service extends that tornado warning into the area. Another tornado warning from that same cell out towards Dyersville, Iowa. So things obviously still amping up. What I will say, and Emma, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but you can essentially see the end of our severe weather threat now on the radar. That's all gradually moving eastward with this cold front. You can see a few cells there out towards Prairie du Chien, near La Crosse, but that's all gradually moving eastward. And as that cold front drags on through, our severe weather threat will essentially come to an end for the evening.
Yeah, definitely, Cam. And the National Weather Service actually just noted if you're west of the Mississippi River, you are in the clear. So likely just going to continue to see these storms roll through, not looking at much of a regeneration of anything behind that front. One other thing that I did just want to point out quick, and you can kind of check this out too, Cam, but I'm looking at just the velocity couplet with that one tornado warning that we do have for Juneau and northern Adams County as well. And it really looks like it has weakened significantly since they first issued that warning. Is that what you're seeing on your end too?
Yeah, I mean, there's still a little evidence there. Again, we're also getting pretty far from that radar site. We have to remember that as well. We're using the La Crosse radar site here, and we're in northern Juneau and Adams County, and that's quite a ways from that radar site. You can see, essentially, we can talk about distance here. That radar site, we're about 60 miles out. And so it's giving us some information. This might be just sweeping the very top of that system. This might be more of a hail maker than anything. We can look at that hail threat. We're not seeing anything on our hail threat. So there's some broad rotation in there. It's definitely not strong, but obviously, again, we're sticking with this until we at least see that cell move out of Armenia and out from Sprague and north of Necedah, north of Strong's Prairie. If we get out towards, say, Rome, Big Flats, Leola, that's when we'll stop worrying about that, and we can start letting our stations up in Wausau take care of that. Though it looks like the areas near Wausau have their hands full with multiple tornado warnings at this time. Things here at home, we're dealing definitely with more of a severe thunderstorm threat. You can see multiple warnings. Look at this. It's just a sea of orange and yellow on your screen. So the yellows are a tornado watch that goes until 8 o'clock, but multiple severe thunderstorm warnings. Iowa County, Sauk County, essentially all of Columbia County, northern Dane County, southern Dane County, parts of eastern Dane County. Madison proper, technically not under a severe thunderstorm warning right now. Portions of Greene County, essentially all of Greene County, portions of Lafayette County, a large chunk of Rock County, all under severe thunderstorm warnings. And you can see the National Weather Service has extended the tornado warning just south of Rock County, but not into Rock County. So you have this hail maker that's essentially just hugging the state line and refuses. I don't know what this storm's system or the storm's problem with the state of Wisconsin is, but it refuses to move over the state line at this time. Let's look at our velocity data and check that out. And that is that's a fairly, and here's the problem. That is a very defined rotation couplet. And I know technically this is probably moving east, but if you're anywhere near Beloit, or South Beloit, or gosh, know anyone there, get to your safe spot right now. That is a very defined rotation couplet. I want to backtrack this just a little bit. This is moving northeast. Folks, if you're in Beloit, this is essentially headed directly towards you. I'm frankly a little surprised that the National Weather Service hasn't extended this into portions of southern Rock County, because this is not moving east. This is moving northeast. Okay, so this is a general idea where the storm is moving. All right, so this is a ballpark path of this current. So there's no tornado warning technically for southern Rock County, but if you are near Beloit, Bellcrest, Green Village, Turtle, Porters, Fox Hollow, Clinton, Chaupier, excuse me if I'm mispronouncing that, Chaupier, La Prairie, Albion, Bradford, Emerald Grove. Folks, I want you to start thinking about where's my safe spot and how quickly can I get there, because this is not moving due east. The storm as a whole might be moving due east, but we've seen this rotation couplet slowly inch northeastward. Again, this is not a fast-moving storm, so you should have plenty of time. I'm going to get some information from the National Weather Service and see exactly how fast this is moving. It's moving east at about 35 miles per hour. Yeah, this is moving east-northeast, and it's inching towards Beloit at this time. So if you're in Beloit, I'm asking you to get into your safe spot now. Rockton, Beloit, South Beloit, just south of the state line, Bellcrest, this essentially whole area here. You see that fairly defined rotation couplet. Again, green's moving toward our radar site, red's moving away, right? So that shows that area of rotation. Let's check out our debris tracker and see if we have anything.
Yeah, Cam, just to interrupt quick about this cell that you're tracking, National Weather Service in Milwaukee did just say that they likely will warn for that storm in Rock County, and that they're just waiting for it to actually make that jump north. I'm not sure if they're waiting for it to actually cross the state line before they issue that warning. But, you know, with that northeasterly path, it looks like that is likely to happen sometime soon.
Yeah, I would be very surprised if we don't see this warning shortly enough. So I want to take one more quick look at Juneau Adams County. Yeah, that rotation is completely gone. So we're gonna give the folks in Juneau and Adams County not necessarily an all clear, but things are looking a little bit better, and we're gonna focus on this rotation couplet just south of Rock County that we technically do not have a tornado warning for.
It sounds like they're just about to issue a warning for that one.
Okay. I did see that Madison has a thunderstorm warning as well that was just issued. Yep. So we have a severe thunderstorm warning for Madison, and we'll get to that tornado warning here in a second as soon as that's issued. But there is no tornado warning yet for Rock County. That will change in the next few moments. Let's get some information on this severe thunderstorm warning for Madison. Thunderstorm is moving northeast at about 50 miles per hour. It's quarter-sized hail that the National Weather Service is most concerned for. Let's pull up our hail tracker, if that wants to work. There's our hail tracker. So from the areas near Mount Horeb and Primrose, maybe some broad rotation in there as well. Oh. I might just be seeing stuff here, Emma, but there looks like there's some broad rotation southeast of Clevenville. This would be west of Verona, near County Road PD. This is in western Dane County, south of Pine Bluff, south of Mineral Point Road on Madison's west side. A little bit of rotation there in that severe thunderstorm warning. So if you're anywhere near any of those communities I just mentioned, Clevenville, Pine Bluff, if you're west of Middleton, maybe just keep a close eye. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. There's our tornado warning for Southern Rock County officially. So we have a tornado warning now for Southern Rock County. This includes Beloit. If you're in Beloit, get to your safe spot. Bellcrest, Garden Village, Turtle, Chopier, Fox Hollow, Clinton, Bradford, Avalon. Safe spots right now, folks. Let's get the information from the National Weather Service and see what we're dealing with. You can see, again, this is the area of concern. Now passing over the state line. Again, green's moving towards our radar site out in Jefferson County. Red's moving away. So due west of Beloit. Let's see here. Until 6 o'clock this evening, this tornado warning is at 4. It's radar indicated. In addition to the tornadic threat, we also have ping pong ball-sized hail as a threat with this as well. And you can see, again, this is that potential hail core that's moving in over Rockton, Beloit. So we have the hail core here near Rockton and South Beloit, the rotation couplet just south of Bellcrest. This is probably going to move over to the areas just north and west of Beloit. So if you are located northwest, west, north of Beloit, safe spots now. Lowest level of the structure in, away from exterior windows and walls. Let's check our debris tracker. Let's see, along with our velocity. That is not ideal. There's a little bit of something there. This might just be winds picking up some debris. We're not seeing a specific debris ball. But we're definitely getting, circle on my screen really quick, the area of concern. So red's moving away, green's moving toward. Again, this is our circle. That's where we're concerned. Now let's look at our debris tracker. That does not match up. Okay, good. All right. That being said, again, Bellcrest, Beloit, this is, you need to be in that safe spot immediately. Has National Weather Service given any other indications with the storm or any other information? Emma?
I'm sorry, I was just taking a look at actually some traffic camera footage that we were seeing that our producer and director were just showing us. Nothing that we can really necessarily see weather-wise right now, but towards on the interstate towards the Beloit area, we're actually seeing some cars pull over. So, you know, let that be your sign. Not really the time to travel right now.
Yeah, absolutely not the time to travel. Again, and this is what I was saying earlier on this afternoon. We were live on Facebook and we were kind of fielding questions from viewers. And one of the questions was, you know, my husband's traveling. Should he be on the road or not? And it was essentially no. If you can avoid being on the road at all costs, please do that. This is not the type of system you want to be traveling in. And as far as this area of rotation as well goes, here's our kind of concerning. Beloit 525, Turtle 533, Fox Hollow. This is essentially just ETAs on that potential rotation couplet. Again, it's a direct path. Let's pull out and kind of find that out really quick here. This is actually taken a fairly northern trajectory over the last little bit here. So zoom out a little bit more. Yeah, I honestly, we'll see if this continues on, but it's I would almost say that's moving northeast to the areas near Janesville. If it holds its kind of current trajectory, it kind of just depends though how this has historically gone. But yeah, the west side of Beloit right now essentially under the gun for that potential threat of tornadic activity. We're not seeing any debris. That's the good news, but it's still not ideal, especially with such a populated area, seeing this area of rotation directly over. And again, if its current trajectory may push this more north-northeast rather than east-northeast, kind of like how its current warning box is. So this might actually push up towards the areas near Janesville over the next little bit, and obviously this will warrant a close eye. What I will say is the rotation is not as strong as it once was. You can see a fairly significant rotation couplet near Sherland, west of Roscoe. This was at 5 o'clock, so about 18 minutes ago. That is near Harrison. That is very defined rotation. Again, reds moving away, brighter greens moving toward. Now it's far more broad, less significant. I would call it right here on the near west side of Beloit, near St. Lawrence Avenue, Sherland Avenue, Grand Avenue, south of, what is that? Is that Route 60? That's Wisconsin 61, Wisconsin 213, west of Route 51. That's where I would call that area of rotation. So likely headed towards Beloit proper at this time. And again, it's a lot less significant. You just got an update on that. Yeah, it's not totally evident, but it's certainly there. We're not seeing any concerning rotation couplets paired with any debris, so that's good. But again, we've been kind of focused on that for a little bit. Let's jump back up really quick here. It looks like
we did just get a severe thunderstorm warning for, it looks like, the entirety of Dane County. I know you were keeping a close eye on that little rotation towards the Springdale area earlier. It does look like that has weakened a little bit, but there is a tornado possible tag with that warning that they just put over the county.
Okay, so it's essentially, northwestern Dane County has that warning. We have another severe thunderstorm warning for what looks like portions of Rock County as well as Greene County. It is active, to say the least, at this time. Emma, do you want to go over really quick kind of everything we're seeing on our, just all together?
Yeah, absolutely. Here, I will get a quick zoom out here across our area. We'll start off with a look at our radar. We can see there's a lot, not just with those watch and warning boxes that Cam was just talking about, but also just all of the rain that we've gotten and all the rain that we've already had over the past few days. Certainly still continue to talk about that flood risk with this system making its way through. Now, National Weather Service, like we talked about just a little bit earlier, says that if you are a little bit closer to the Mississippi River, you're in areas west of the Mississippi River, you are in the clear for tonight. That cold front has moved through. We're not really going to see much of a regeneration of storms behind that front. However, you can see that leading line of storms still kind of making its way just from Cuba City, very southern edge of Grant County, all the way up through Iowa County, through the Dodgeville area, towards Sauk City and Portage area, Beaver Dam. And you can kind of almost see two lines kind of setting up with the current radar scan, again with that one moving from Grant County up through northern Dane County where we just got that warning, but then also a little bit closer to east of Prairie du Chien, a little bit through Richland Center. We've got some heavy rainfall coming down right now. Doesn't look like we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect in Richland County right now, but certainly seeing some heavy rain.
Yeah, we're seeing heavy rain. We're getting heavy rain here at the station.
Yeah.
It's torrential downpour here at the station right now in Madison's near west side. And you can see right on our screen right here the heavy downpour. And again, it's that hail threat that we're concerned with as well. It's got quarter-sized hail for Madison and its west side right now, the isthmus to the northeast side. Monona technically not under that severe thunderstorm warning at this time, nor is, I believe Sun Prairie might be part of that warning, or at least parts of Sun Prairie are part of that severe thunderstorm warning. But again, kind of just a mess on your screen here between the flooding concern, between the severe weather threat, tornadic activity, hail threat, strong winds. We get a little bit of everything. And as far as rainfall goes, goodness gracious, we are just continuing to see the heavy rain settle in. Anywhere you're seeing green on your screen is an indicator of an inch or more of estimated rainfall over the last 12 hours or so. And you're also getting those areas of yellow, those areas of kind of darker yellow-orange. That's 2+ inches of rain today alone. That's on top of all of the rain we've already seen. So that's why we also have, in addition to our our threat of severe weather, you're seeing these areas of darker red, almost reddish brown. Those are flash flood warnings. So you have a flash flood warning in effect for most of Iowa County. Flash flood warnings in effect for a good chunk of Lafayette County into Greene County as well. So these thunderstorms not only generating that threat of damaging winds and hail, but flooding has been a significant concern for a large chunk of the area over the last several days, and that will continue into the weekend, even though drier, quieter conditions are indeed expected for those areas. Let's jump back really quick to our tornado warn system in parts of Rock County, and this is my concern. This was my concern when that initial warning was issued. You can see that rotation couplet right now. Don't get me wrong, it's not exactly strong, it's not exactly well organized, but again, we're using our Jefferson County radar for this. That's to the north and east. You have those brighter greens moving toward, red moving away, creating this rotation couplet out near Bellcrest. This is getting outside of that tornado warning box, and so I'm just gonna kind of track this backwards, okay? We're going to track this system backwards. There's our nice defined couplet. We're going to track this to where it currently resides. And its trajectory is much more of a north-northeast, essentially out towards Janesville. Okay? So you might not be in the warning box here, but I'm going to tell some folks, I don't have an exact time because I can't exactly gauge exactly how fast this is moving without the National Weather Service discreetly saying so. But Rock, Janesville, Milton, this is just your heads up. Now, granted, with that latest sweep, it does look like things have weakened on this area of rotation. But this area of rotation wasn't necessarily following the warning box itself. It was kind of moving north-northeast out towards the Janesville region. So, yeah, it's still technically there. It's south of Rock, north of Bellcrest now. It's very broad at this time. But if you're in Janesville, Milton, Koshkonong, this is maybe your heads up now to just double check. Hey, maybe it's time to start looking at where my safe spot is. Now, there is no evidence of debris. That's the good news. We are not seeing any evidence of debris with that system right now. But still, a decent little thunderstorm moving through southern Rock County. You can see a lot of hail as well. This was the significant threat. You can see that hail just looks like it moved over portions of Beloit. So I hope folks in Beloit were able to pull their cars in. Turtle, Fox Hollow, Clinton. This is going to be hugging the state line with Illinois. So State Line Road, Wisconsin 67, Wisconsin 140, County Road, is that County Road X? All these areas are essentially getting ready for that, probably what has been the largest hail threat we've seen so far today, though it looks like a pretty decent hail threat out towards Avon, Newark, and Orfordville as well. So we're starting to see more of a hail threat right along the state line in parts of southern Rock County. And that is where the National Weather Service has issued additional severe thunderstorm warnings as well. So we're getting more of these severe thunderstorm warnings coming in with that threat of large hail, not to mention the damaging wind threat and the flooding threat.
Yeah, hey Cam,
well.
just a real quick
Yeah.
note to cut in here. So towards Lake Mills, that's kind of I know, pushing just a little bit out of our viewing area, but there is a little bit of a broad rotation just between Lake Mills and Johnson Creek. There is someone in the area saying that they are seeing some lowering. So something to maybe, keep an eye on. Does not look like there is any evidence of debris or any evidence of anything on the ground, but the National Weather Service is going to be keeping an eye on that. And then the other quick thing here is that southeastern portion of Dane County now has severe thunderstorm warning as well. We're talking about that hail threat, but like you were just talking about, there's also a pretty big damaging wind threat. Part of that severe thunderstorm warning including 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts.
Yeah, and that's the thing with each one of these thunderstorms is, yes, we get the thunderstorms and we're more focused on where the rotation is and how large the hail is. We haven't necessarily seen them yet, but this type of setup specifically, routinely, historically speaking, will give way to damaging winds in excess of 70+ miles per hour. I've seen setups very close to this give way to winds of 75 to 80 miles per hour. So it's possible any one of these thunderstorms could also whip those strong winds into the equation as well, and that's something to keep in mind. And, you know, we're breaking in the coverage, and I'm sure people are certainly tired of seeing me this week. I know I'm tired of seeing me this week with how much severe weather coverage we've been doing. But that's the type of threats we're dealing with right here, right? The ping pong ball sized hail, the rotation, but again, it's also the winds as well. We've seen plenty of wind damage over the last several days, and we're going to continue to potentially see that as the evening wears on. What I am noticing is we're really starting to see parts of Grant County. If you're in western Grant County, Lancaster, Potosi, Bloomington, Cassville, your threat of severe weather has officially come to an end. That cold front continues to drag eastward across the area, and as that continues on, that threat will gradually weaken. And again, we'll see this really occur between now and, say, about 8 o'clock in the evening. After that, the threat of severe weather for all of us will come to an end. So we got about another 2.5 hours before the official severe weather threat totally concludes. But until then, we still have that threat of large hail, damaging winds, tornadic activity very much present. Not to mention flooding. We're seeing multiple flash flood warnings across portions of Iowa County, Lafayette County, Greene County at this time. Flash flood warnings with more than 2 inches of rain coming down in those areas over the last several hours here.
Yeah, Cam, and like you were just talking about just a couple minutes ago about Beloit and that hail, we actually do have a viewer photo that we can pull up here of hail in Beloit. It's in from Laura in the Menards in Beloit. Okay,
so goodness gracious. This is deja vu. Obviously, we're talking about 2-inch in diameter hail, a little bit smaller than what we dealt with on Tuesday, thankfully, and this is really the only instance we've seen of it today. So you said, where was this?
This is at the Menards in Beloit.
Menards in Beloit. So obviously, we don't exactly know how large, is it Laura's hand is. But that doesn't necessarily look as large as what we dealt with, but it's certainly large enough to do damage. So keep that in mind. If we're talking about a hail threat, folks, this is the type of thing we're talking about. It's significantly less than what we saw on Tuesday, but it doesn't mean that we're fine and that inch-size hail. No, let's look at our hail tracker, and again, this is the type of hail we're talking about. Here's our hail core. If we can jump to our radar really quick here. Here's our hail core. There's Beloit on the left side of your screen. We're looking at these blues, folks. We're talking 1.5 inches, potentially up to 2 inch in diameter hail, and that looked to be about 2 inches, for Laura. So 2 inch in diameter hail is not something to fool around with. I hope Laura's vehicle parked in the parking lot there in Menards and Beloit did not see too much damage. We have another significant hail core in parts of Rock County. This is right around Wisconsin 81 near Newark, 213. If you are in Janesville, right now might be the time to pull that car inside, folks, because this is not ideal. This is moving directly towards Janesville. Rock, Janesville, Layden, Milton, La Prairie, Emerald Grove. If you can bring those cars inside, if you can cover them with something, now's the time to do it, because look at this. This has that purple kind of embedded within it, and that's approaching that 2 inch to potentially more than 2 inches in diameter. So we're talking potentially golf ball sized and plus, maybe up to egg sized hail. Possibility very similar to what we just saw Laura holding in Beloit. So it's the hail threat on top of all of that that we're seeing at this time. That's a good catch Emma.
Yeah, one other thing, just real quick, southern Grant County seeing a severe thunderstorm warning. Those tornado warnings that we were talking about just on that very edge, the border with Iowa, looks like they're going to extend that as a severe thunderstorm warning rather than a tornado warning.
Wonderful, that's good. Okay, so you can see that this is the storm in question that Emma was just talking about. There's our tornado warning across the state line, the Mississippi River just north of Dubuque. Heavy rainfall, and I mentioned some areas of Grant County are out of the weeds, right? Potosi west, you're good to go. If you're in Jamestown, if you're in Cuba City, Platteville, folks, you are not out of the woods quite yet. We still have that severe thunderstorm warning. Let's get some information on that really quick out of the National Weather Service. This is until 6:15 for southwestern or southeastern Grant County, rather. Penny-sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. This is all moving northeast at about 55 miles per hour. This is a fast-moving storm. That's the thing with these cold fronts, with these storm systems developing right ahead of a cold front, they tend to fly, right? They tend to move quickly. So we're seeing those strong winds here. You can see those bright greens on your screen near Rutledge, Jamestown, Fairplay, Smelser, Dickeyville, Cuba City. So damaging straight line wind threat. Let's talk about that hail threat. Let's see if we have any hail markers out there. A little bit. Jamestown, Smelser, out to the areas west of Elk Grove, near the county border there. So hail core, again, that's penny-sized hail, damaging straight line wind threat out in Grant County, that latest severe thunderstorm warning at this time.
Yeah, Cam, one thing, just quick to take it back towards that Beloit area, I-39-90 at County Road S in Rock County. We have a view of the traffic camera there. Looks like there's a pretty big backup on the interstate. And we're also at the same time getting reports from an off-duty officer in Clinton, that's also in Rock County, of a funnel cloud kind of dropping and lifting. So, it looks like that backup has actually cleared, which is good news.
Yeah.
But, you know, again, not a great time to be on the roads right now and be traveling.
Oh gosh, yeah, and that's the thing is, if you can avoid traveling on the roads at any cost right now, just being out there caught in hail is not fun, let alone 60+ mile per hour winds, not to mention the tornadic threat, the flooding threat. I've been saying it all day. If you can avoid traveling, and this is obviously not hitting us at a great hour. There's a lot of folks who cannot avoid traveling at 5:30 on a Friday evening. Folks want to get home. The weekend is officially underway for many people across the area. And it's just inconvenient in which time these storms are indeed hitting. So some of us, it's unavoidable to be traveling at this time, but goodness gracious, just look at this is what we're traveling through. Essentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It looks like 10 separate, up to 10 potentially separate severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warning, flash flood warnings, flood advisories. This is the hand we've been dealt. So obviously we'll continue to track as it moves through. But the good news is we got about goodness, what we got about another 2+ hours of this. I would say within the next 2 hours, 2.5 hours, we are the threat is essentially over and done with for us. So that is the good news. Let's look at that tornado warning. We still technically have that tornado warning in southern Rock County. When does this go until? Is this 6 o'clock? I believe it's until 6 p.m. Yep, until 6 o'clock. So we're going to watch this closely. I would imagine that the National Weather Service will probably cancel this prior to 6 p.m., considering there's a significant lack of rotation at this time. And we're also dealing with far greater of a hail threat. And again, folks, Janesville, this is getting closer to you. Rock, Footville, Layden, Janesville. If you have a chance to pull those cars in, get them in the garage, get something over them, please do that, because this is not the type of hail core you want to mess around with. Orfordville, the south end of Orfordville, possibly even southeastern Orfordville, Footville out towards Rock, Bellcrest. The area is near Newark, and in fact it was Newark that had a pretty decent size hail earlier on. You see another cell out towards Broadhead as well, so another threat of inch to potentially inch and a half sized hail to the areas north of Spring Grove and Avon.
Hey, Cam.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but speaking of Orfordville, which you just had pulled up there, it looks like they are going to add on to that tornado warning.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. Okay, so tornado warning right now for Rock County. This includes Janesville. It's not a ton. Is this, let's see here. Radar indicated rotation. Tornado and $half sized hail. It seems like it's moving northeast at about 30 miles per hour. So we're seeing some broad rotation there. It's not necessarily tight. There's not a ton of evidence to it. We're also looking at our debris tracker. I'm not seeing anything on our debris tracker, really. Just some broad rotation at this time. National Weather Service giving any indication? Anything else there?
It does not look like there is a lot coming in from them,
Cool.
in addition to the warning that they just put out. One person does say that they have a spotter near the wall cloud on that Rock County storm, and that it doesn't look like there is much lowering, but that there is a more impressive structure. You know, with all that heat and humidity that we have just been dealing with the past few days, I'm assuming that that warning is because things could really just kind of start to expand quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact there's a wall cloud to begin with is concerning in its own right, not to mention that hail threat. So you have a significant hail core, and a lot of times you get those significant hail cores. It's because there's a ton of lift in this storm. That is this very same entity that creates that rotation and those funnel clouds that can drop down and obviously become tornadoes. So here's what we're going to do. We're just going to go bulk line and talk about, again, moving northeast at about 30 miles per hour, I believe is what the National Weather Service said here. Yep, northeast at 30 miles per hour. We are just going to go the cross section here across it. Move northeast at 30 miles per hour and just talk about folks in the direct path, okay? So these are the areas in the direct path of this latest tornado warning for portions of Rock County through 6:30, okay? So Bellcrest at 5:44, it is currently 5:40. You have about 2 to 3 minute heads up. Get to that safe spot now. Janesville, you have a little bit more of a heads up. So does Rock. Rock at 5:53. Janesville essentially right around 6 o'clock. Emerald Grove at 6:10, closer to around 6:19 at Johnstown. If I've mentioned any location near you, any community near you, now is the time to get to that safe spot. Lowest level of the structure or business that you're in, away from exterior windows and walls. A basement, a crawl space are going to be your best bets in any situation like this. If you don't have a basement, get down to that first floor, away from exterior windows and walls, interior hallway, a closet, a washroom, close to the center of that structure, okay? That's going to put as many layers between you and any flying debris. The same thing, if you're at home right now, grab a pair of tennis shoes, grab some gym shoes, boots, something like that to bring with you to that safe spot. If you're a bicyclist, you might have a bicycle helmet standing around, sitting around, out in the garage, something like that. If you have 10, 20 minutes before this system reaches you, grab that as well. You might feel a little silly, especially just sitting in the closet with a bicycle helmet on, but here's the thing. Worst case scenario, you have layers between yourself and debris. Tennis shoes, boots. You don't want to be walking around in debris, wood, nails, whatever. Again, worst case scenario in flip-flops or socks or slippers, anything like that, or barefoot. So grab that pair of shoes, grab that bicycle helmet, anything to keep as many layers between you and debris or danger, right? So that's the latest tornado warning out of the National Weather Service for portions of Rock County. I can't discern any significant areas of rotation. There might be some just south and west of Rock, but it is, yeah. What do you think, Emma, here?
Yeah,
just
definitely.
Southwest of Rock. It's a little bit there. It's not really that significant, but there might be something there. So if you're in Rock, if you're in Janesville or Prairie, this is your safe spot, heads up, okay? That's where you need to be. You got to get to that safe spot now. It's not necessarily tight. Let's check our debris tracker. Oh, that might just be debris from the bottom of that storm there.
Yeah, Cam, as we've been talking about kind of this rotation, being a little bit on the broader side, we are also, in many areas talking just about strong straight line winds, whether they have that broad rotation or not. We do have one view, I-43 at Hart Road, where you can really see that camera moving. And one other thing that was reported a few minutes ago, a lot of power outages ongoing right now in Cottage Grove, which to my knowledge isn't even in a severe thunderstorm warning right now. So, seeing a lot of effects of this even just spreading outside of the warnings.
Okay, someone remind me, I-43 Hart Road, where is this located? East of Beloit. Okay, so this is within the first tornado warned storm. Strong winds, large hail. You can see traffic moving fairly slowly, and that camera is shaking because of the winds there. And you can see if we look at our wind speeds, yeah, absolutely. Those brighter greens, you better believe, folks, those winds are whipping across portions of southern Rock County near Beloit. And Emma said it, these strong winds are, we get a severe thunderstorm warning. We become very used to severe thunderstorm warnings during the summer. We've been very used to severe thunderstorm warnings this week. We might get desensitized to them. But so often, if you get a severe thunderstorm warning, it is not something to mess around with. You do not want to be outside. You want to be inside because those winds can whip. We can bring down tree limbs, cause power outages. Emma was just talking about Cottage Grove being without power. Honestly, I'm not surprised. Cottage Grove is kind of where we had that area of rotation a little bit in eastern Dane County a short while ago. It's where we have the Watertown severe thunderstorm warning right now there, but that might be those strong straight line winds may have brought down power lines, potentially in Cottage Grove. This would have been about 45 minutes ago, maybe just a little bit longer ago. So if you're in Cottage Grove, you can safely report that to us. Please do so. Any reports from viewers are very much appreciated. So you can do that on our app or our website. Tornado warning ongoing for portions of Rock County. We have two separate tornado warnings here. We don't have a ton of very defined rotation. We have a lot of turbulence in this storm, right? The other thing the storm is generating at this time is hail. We've seen hail, significant issue for portions of southwestern Rock County. Right now, over Rock, and again, it seems like that hail is starting to wane ever so slightly, which is good. Obviously, we don't want large hail. We did have one image from Beloit from this hail core now near Clinton, south of Bradford, that looked to be about 2-inch in diameter hail, which still impressive. And if it wasn't from, if this was any other time other than this week, I would say was significant. But compared to what we dealt with on Tuesday, 2-inch diameter hail is not necessarily all that significant when you had 3, 4, 5-inch diameter hail earlier on in the week. Just absolutely wild that, we're still getting images of some of that hail, and it's surprising to say the least. Let's jump back to, we just have multiple thunderstorm warnings at this point. It looks like we just got another thunderstorm warning for parts of eastern Iowa County at this time. You're still seeing these warnings issued out towards portions I would say if you're in southeastern Grant County, most of that concern of severe weather has essentially fallen off. Platteville, Dickeyville, you're good to go. Cuba City, Hazel Green, you're still dealing with some pretty heavy rainfall. Belmont potentially dealing with some small hail there. But again, if you are Crawford County, their threat of severe weather has come to an end. Richland County, you're still dealing with a decent little thunderstorm right here near Rockbridge and Richland Center. That rain's still coming down, but if you're west of Richland Center, your severe weather threat is essentially coming to an end. This is all, slowly whittling down as that cold front pushes across the area. And you can see, again, if we come to that really quick, I want to pull up our kind of imagery on this cold front. We've kind of been tracking this throughout the day. Here's how things are moving. And even I could possibly move this cold front a little bit further off to the east now and just kind of alter this. But essentially updating the position of this cold front on live on live on air here. This is essentially where our cold front is right now. Okay, so we're just going to save that, and we can go back to that screen and kind of just give you a general idea. So if you find yourself west of this frontal boundary, your severe weather threat has essentially come to an end. So you can see a good chunk of Richland County west out towards Grant County. But if you are east of this cold front, you're not out of the woods yet. We're getting a lot more of this steady rain across the area, and that's actually good news as far as a severe weather threat goes. The more of this steady, heavy rainfall we get, which is not great for flooding, that's obviously going to exacerbate our flooding concerns. As the system pushes eastward, we're getting less of these supercellular thunderstorms that tend to bring more hail and a greater risk of tornadic activity. We're seeing more widespread rain. And while that's not necessarily great for folks that have been dealing with flooding, which is quite a bit of southern Wisconsin, it's good for our overall threat of severe weather. It starts to kind of whittle that down and bring that to an end. Again, right about 10 minutes before 6 o'clock, I'm expecting our severe weather threat to officially be over and done with by the time we get towards 8 o'clock or so, potentially as early as 7 for a large chunk of the region.
Hey Cam, just real quick to kind of draw our eyes back towards the Rock County area approaching Janesville. I was just taking a look at that velocity scan. It does look like maybe we have a little bit more of a rotation. Things have maybe kind of ramped up a little bit from earlier. I was also taking a look at our debris signature, but unfortunately, like you said earlier, it is really, really hard to tell. It is just kind of right on the edge of our radar scan where we tend to kind of see that lighter color anyway, so it is still, really, really hard to tell.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just very cluttered. We're not really seeing much of that definition that we love to see when we're talking about velocity scans, velocity data. We're not really getting that, and that's making for essentially just a difficult time to kind of glean into that storm. Normally you look for, and we had one earlier on this week, if you remember the Union Center tornado, that was confirmed EF3 tornado earlier this week. We were tracking that very clean rotation couplet, and eventually we did get a very clean debris signal as well from that system before, again, the National Weather Service confirmed that as an EF3 tornado. Obviously, we don't want that. But when we're tracking storms, it's difficult, especially, again, when you're getting kind of closer to a radar site. The way radars work, they don't sweep at a 90-degree angle. They tend to sweep at an angle. And the further you get away or the closer you get to, either very close or very far away from radar sites, you tend to get less information than you'd please, especially when you're tracking the threat of severe weather. And that, as a result, is what's kind of giving us our difficult time right now. What I can tell you is we are still dealing with a hail core that's not necessarily ideal for the south end of Janesville right now. So for the areas south and west of Janesville, west of Rock, across County Highway D, into essentially following Wisconsin 11 south of Janesville, out towards La Prairie, that is a decent hail core. This is separate from the hail core we were tracking earlier out towards Beloit, that we had that one viewer with about 2-inch in diameter hail. You can see the darker blues embedded within this, about 1.5 inches plus hail associated with this system. So we're certainly seeing some hail with this, and it's obviously not ideal for the folks in Janesville. So if you have a chance to bring that car inside in Janesville, La Prairie, Emerald Grove, Rock, unfortunately for you, it's probably a little bit too late. Harmony, now is your time to do so. That cell that brought that very large hail to Beloit, now out towards Bradford, that is significantly weakened, still up to about a quarter sized hail, a possibility with that storm system at this time. So we still do, again, have 2 tornado warnings on your screen. Both are in Rock County. The first of which really seems to have the majority of that storm kind of graduating outside of it. We just did get a velocity update.
Hey, Cam,
Yes.
well, we're taking a look actually at this. National Weather Service is noting a strengthening of the wall cloud there. We actually have a view of that right now. This is looking out I-3990. It looks like south of Woodman's Road. A little bit too close to kind of get a good handle on the exact structure, but gives a good look at, what's going on there.
Yeah, and I was actually just looking at specifically the area south of Janesville. You can say, yeah, that right there. Oh, who's controlling this? Is it us or somebody else?
I believe it is the DOT.
Oh, DOT is controlling it. Oh, no. Okay, yes. All right. There we go, Department of Transportation. All right, so that is your wall cloud. That is a very well-defined lowering structure of that cloud. Now, we're not seeing anything on the bottom of it right now. Yeah, let's stick with this as long as we can have it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it just isn't in this camera view, Cam, but a train spotter is confirming rotation, a funnel not on the ground, they say yet.
Here we go.
Near Highway BT, near Shopier Road.
That could just be scud clouds as well. That looks like that might be the beginnings of a funnel cloud right there. Yeah, that's absolutely what this is. So this is facing southwest from, what is it, Woodman Road, I-3990 south of Woodman Road. That looks like a pretty decent rotation couplet. That looks like that might be an area of rotation. I'm tracking really quick on screen right now. Don't take this away. I want to keep this up. But watching an area of rotation. Emma, are you tracking that area of rotation just south of Beloit at this time?
Yes, yeah, I do have a look at that. Looks like it is still no warning on that. Or Beloit?
Sorry, Janesville.
Janesville.
Apologies.
Yes, yeah, still looks fairly broad. Haven't really seen much change since we last took a look at it a few minutes ago. But, with folks in the area reporting that and us having this kind of live view, just because the radar signature isn't showing what's actually happening, of course doesn't mean that it's not actually happening, because we can see clearly from the view behind you and what we're hearing from spotters right now, what exactly is going on.
Okay, so yeah, we're kind of tough to see now because it looks like it's now moving over that area. And just watching again, the south end of Beloit, or Janesville, I keep mixing that up, apologies. That might be your inflow right there, the beginnings of that funnel. That depends. It's a little tough to tell with, again, there might be a lot of scud embedded within this cloud as well. Yeah, we're starting to get a lot of rain as well. Let's go back to our velocity. Keep an eye on this back in the control room. If they turn this again, maybe looking further off to the north with that, I'd be interested to see what that looks like. But here's what we're seeing right now. And there is what could be some strong winds in the south end of Beloit. And that actually kind of coincides, unfortunately, with that area of rotation we kind of were just seeing as well. If anybody could tell me exactly where was it? Woodman Road?
South Woodman Road, yes. Here, let me see if I can get it pulled up on a map here quick.
Yeah, because I'm having a hard time. I got Avalon Road, because I want to just make sure that maybe that's coinciding with our area of...
It sounds like it's south.
South? Okay. Okay. Yeah, and that very well might be the area we were kind of just watching as well at this time. So certainly just, it's concerning to see that. It's moving northeast, south of Janesville. Yeah, I would say towards La Prairie. And here's my area of concern that I'm going to just circle on screen here. I would say on the southeast side of Janesville, towards La Prairie, moving northeast towards Avalon Road right now. Has the DOT turned that camera any more? Does anybody know in the control room whether or not that's happening? Okay, yeah, kind of. It's looking more southeast now. Yeah. Alrighty. So we're just watching that kind of concerning rotation. We're looking at our debris, seeing some sort of signature there near the La Prairie region, south and east of Janesville, kind of coinciding with that velocity. Couplet here again, red's moving away, green's moving toward that radar site. This is all moving northeast, and you kind of can coincide that with a little bit of a debris kind of detection. Again, when we're using our debris signature product, it's sweeping through and it's measuring the amount of density that it's sweeping through. Those darker reds are heavy rain, a lot of rain droplets close together. The brighter those yellows or eventually blues get, the higher likelihood that there is a lower density. So there's objects in the air that are actually reading as far apart from each other, and that's usually debris. Might just be strong straight line winds kicking something up, but a lot of times if you get a decent rotation couplet paired with that debris signature, that is more than enough confirmation of a tornado on the ground. But we're not seeing that concrete evidence quite yet, but certainly watching that very closely. All right, it is the 6 o'clock hour officially at 6 p.m. We have one tornado warning on your screen right now. That is in Rock County. This goes until 6:30, and I'm just going to hit the reset button on this. Let's talk about this storm system. It was about 5:30, just shortly after 5:30, that the National Weather Service issued this tornado warning. Originally, we had some broad rotation out towards the areas south of Orfordville and Newark. We were watching hail at that time, and hail is still very much something to keep in mind at this time as well. But more, it's the threat of a tornadic cell that we need to keep an eye on. This is all moving northeast, or at least was at the time the warning was issued, right around 30 miles per hour. So we're going to go from that area of concern on the south edge of this system, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour, and we're just going to give you a few of the communities potentially in the path of this storm. You can see La Prairie essentially on top of you right now. Get to that safe spot. Emerald Grove, you have about a 10 to 15 minute heads up. Johnstown at 6:23. All right, those are the communities in the direct path of this area of rotation that we're kind of concerned about. This represents our only tornado warned storm across our area. Now, if we zoom out, you can still see multiple severe thunderstorm warnings associated with these storms that are rolling through. You can see severe thunderstorm warnings for portions of Lafayette, Iowa counties, Greene County, Dane County, as well as portions of Rock County, Jefferson County, Dodge County, out into Walworth County as well. So multiple severe thunderstorm warnings at this time. Let's jump back to our Doppler radar. You can see exactly what we're talking about. Here's the cold front. If you're west of that cold front, you are in the clear. So all of Grant County, your severe weather threat has come to an end. Richland County, your severe weather threat has come to an end. Most of Sauk County, your severe weather threat has come to an end. I'm hesitant to call Juneau and Adams County only because we do have a severe thunderstorm warning just west of Juneau and Adams County at this time. But if you are in Dane County, if you're in Columbia County, Marquette County, Dodge, Jefferson, Walworth, Rock, Greene County, Iowa County, Lafayette County, your severe weather threat has not come to an end and will continue on into the evening. Now, the last of our potentially strong to severe storms should exit east of our area by about 7 to 8 o'clock. So another hour or two, depending on where you are. But again, there is one tornado warning in our area right now, and that is in Rock County, primarily Janesville at this time. Watching this closely. Not only does this system have a threat of tornadic activity, but also a threat of large hail. You can see that hail extending from the areas near Orfordville through Janesville And if you have a chance to pull that vehicle in, if you're in, say, Harmony or Milton, Lima Center, Johnstown, Whitewater, Koshkonong, this is all headed in your general direction. Okay, so we're looking at another hail threat. But again, with a tornado warning, you're far more concerned about, obviously, rotation. Okay, and we're not... It's hard to come by a very defined rotation couplet. We're not really seeing one right now. Do you see anything, Emma, that you're kind of latching onto there that might represent some area? Oh, yeah, you know what? Storm relative velocity. I do, actually.
Yeah, a little bit more of a rotation with that. We actually do have a camera view, but they just started moving it again, so we're just gonna... Oh yeah, you can kind of see here. This is I-3990 at Avalon Road. It's just south of Janesville.
This is always bad. I mean, you have folks... I understand if it's heavy rain, you don't want to drive in it. It's a lot safer to be traveling slowly in heavy rainfall than it is to park under an underpass because, again, rain is not always the best thing to be traveling in. Folks can slip and slide around. I hate to see that. But again, this is coming from the same meteorologist that told people not to travel during the rush hour. So if you can avoid traveling at this time, please do so. Wait until that severe weather threat has come to an end. Where is this located again? This is Avalon Road, I-3990 at Avalon. Yeah, okay, so this is exactly, let's pull this up. Here's I-3990 Avalon, so that's where those cars are parked under the underpass. Here is our area of rotation, south and east of that. That's moving northeast. So this is our area of concern. We're not seeing any rotation. We're not seeing any debris signature.
Yeah, Cam, sorry to interrupt you here.
Yep.
Just to let you know, the National Weather Service is reporting that they have reports of a tornado on the ground in this area. And then, you know, one other thing just to bring up here, they did just issue a tornado warning just north of Madison, so northern Dane County. It looks like it's just south of Wanakee, just east of the Middleton area. It includes Sun Prairie, Cottage Grove, Marshall.
Okay. All right. Really quick, I want to talk about that debris signature. Potentially on the ground. You said near this area?
Yes.
Okay, so this very well might be... I'm not really seeing anything. It looks like they just issued another tornado warning, or... Yeah, they issued a tornado warning in Rock County due to that. So here's our latest tornado warning. We have what sounds like a tornado on the ground in Rock County. At this time. Let me get this information on your screen. We're watching confirmed tornado was located near Clinton or near Janesville, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. I would say it's got to be right here near that La Prairie, south of Avalon Road, where we just saw those cars moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. Let's pull that up. Okay, safe spots, folks. Areas of La Prairie, Bradford, Johnstown, all within the next half an hour here. So Avalon at 6:15, Bradford 6:18, Johnstown 6:25. Confirmed tornado on the ground south and east of Janesville, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. All right, you said we have another tornado warning, this time in Dane County?
Yes, yeah, it is just north of Madison. Looks like there's a little bit of a velocity couplet on there, and I actually do see what may be a small debris signature. It's pretty tough to tell, though.
Okay, can we point our constellation camera towards Lake Mendota? Okay. This looks to be a fairly decent little rotation couplet. Let's see if we can get a debris signature on it. Not seeing necessarily. Let's zoom out and see if we have anything else there. Not really seeing much in the way of a debris signature. But here, I'm going to circle on their screen kind of what I'm watching closely. Maple Bluff. Folks, if you're in Maple Bluff, the northeast side of Madison, you got to get in that safe spot now. Okay? So here's what we're looking at. Red's moving away, green's moving toward Maple Bluff, northeast side of Madison. Okay, no, we don't need the Polar Constellation camera. Here's what we're dealing with right now. If you're anywhere near Sherman Avenue, near Maple Bluff, we'll say Milwaukee Street and East Washington Avenue, out towards Sun Prairie, Anderson Street, Aberg Avenue, Johnston, Winnebago Street, Atwood. These are all the areas that were heavily impacted by that hail earlier on this week. You need to be in your safe spot now, not minutes from now. Now, lowest level of structure you're in, away from exterior windows and walls. This is a potential threat. Not only are we seeing that strong rotation couplet, Emma said that she briefly saw, I would call this a debris signature right here, Emma. Okay, so Maple Bluff. This could be a debris signature near the Maple Bluff neighborhood, near Sherman Avenue, Milwaukee Street, Aberg Avenue. This seems to be moving, is it east at 30, the National Weather Service said?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so we're going to say east at 30 miles per hour. Okay. This is where we're concerned, okay? Cottage Grove, Seminary Springs, Pierceville. I tell you what, Emma, can you take over for a moment?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So let me just pull up kind of what you were looking at there. We've got that area of rotation right over Maple Bluff. I am going to get out our little cone tool and see if we can time it out for some folks who are downstream of this warning. Here we go. Let me just make sure, yep, 30 miles per hour, moving pretty much due east. So taking a look, 620 Burke, 622 Seminary Springs, 632 Pierceville, 638 Deansville, 641 in Marshall, and 645 in York. If any of that sounded like an area that is near you, it's definitely the time to get into your safe space. Like Cam was just saying, when we take a look at our debris tracker with this system, we can actually kind of just see, we can just barely make out maybe a little bit of a lighter area in there, and that's kind of where we see the chance to maybe see some debris being thrown around by strong winds, by a potential tornado. So definitely something to take seriously if you are in the Madison area or just north of Madison. Again, some bigger cities also included in this warning that did not get included in that timeout. Sun Prairie, Cottage Grove, Marshall, looks like it's just north of Deerfield as well. So that is something that we will continue to keep a close eye on. Again, the time right now, 6:11 p.m. on a Friday night. Definitely a busy and an active time on the roads of folks leaving work, folks heading out to any Friday night plans. Certainly not anything that anyone wants to be driving through. Taking another look, too, at that other warning that we currently have in Rock County. Gosh, this debris signature, it has been hard to tell if this debris signature is just because it's on the very outer edge of where we have that radar scan, or if it's actually debris being lofted into the air. National Weather Service kind of widening that tornado warning. Maybe we can get a clearer look at that if we move on over to radar. Let's see here. Just gonna move this back to that Rock County, Janesville area. You can see very heavy rain just north of Janesville, reaching just south of Milton. And you can see they did extend that tornado warning a little bit further off to the west. That initial warning was a little bit further east, but this has taken just a touch more of a northerly direction here. So just something to keep in mind. A lot of folks who are northeast of Janesville were probably keeping a close eye on that storm, but now it's also areas north of Janesville. Let me take a look at that radar loop, kind of see the direction that it is moving over these past few scans. Oh, we have the Avalon Road camera again. Yeah, let's take a look at that and see. Ooh, yeah, a little hard to see, a little bit zoomed in, but yeah, Cam, I think you're right. You can kind of see that rotation of the clouds in there.
Yeah, that's not ideal, obviously, towards Avalon Road and Sun Prairie. That's that rotation just south of Avalon Road, it looks like. Additionally, going back to the tornado warned storm in Madison right now, we're still waiting on another sweep from our velocity data right now. The last look was that area of rotation potentially out towards the Maple Bluff region. the northwest or northeast side rather of Madison, moving east. There was a brief moment where it looked like we may have had some sort of debris signature. It wasn't necessarily strong or defined, but it was certainly there. And anytime you're talking about a heavily populated area and debris being aloft in the air, this is not the type of situation you want to take lightly. So you should be in that safe spot. Hopefully we get a little bit of an update here from our debris or our velocity data here shortly. It looks like the National Weather Service maintaining that severe thunderstorm warning as well. And if you're in Madison, you're hearing the winds howl and the heavy rainfall come down. It is coming down here at the station as well. Fortunately, we're not in the path of that area of tornadic rotation. Jumping back down to Rock County with their two tornado warnings at this time. Let's see if we have any debris signature near Avalon. I'm not seeing anything debris. That's good. Hail core is fairly significant. Again, significant hail in Janesville at this time, but it's this area of the brighter green. It's not as significant as it was at one time, but let's go back up to Madison. See, okay, we do have an update. No, we don't necessarily have an update yet. It's taking its time getting this new data in, velocity data. But since we're waiting on it, if you're at Cottage Grove, Pierceville, Marshall, Waterloo, Sun Prairie, you need to be in your safe spot right this minute. This is not the type of storm system you want to mess around with, especially, again, when you're talking not only the threat of rotation within that storm, but the threat of large hail, damaging winds, all a part of this severe thunderstorm and tornado warning that is currently over the north end of Madison, likely out towards the north end of Cottage Grove, Sun Prairie at this time, continuing on, moving east at about 30 miles per hour. So I'm going to kind of talk about what we're looking at. Again, our radar site that we're using is out in eastern Jefferson County. We get these areas of green. That is an indicator that is moving east towards that radar site. The areas of red moving away. So you get the red kind of coming in, the green going out. This is where we saw that area of rotation. It was probably over Lake Mendota for a short while. In fact, this is a similar setup to what we had back on Tuesday when we had all that massive hail in Madison. We had a supercellular thunderstorm essentially camp out over the city for the better part of about 20 to 30 minutes. Kind of wobbled over the isthmus. This is moving, however, due east. It's not really showing any wobbling in its path. Still waiting on, goodness gracious, we really need this data to come on through. We're not getting anything. I imagine by the time it shows up, I think a lot of this storm system is going to be out here towards Sun Prairie, Cottage Grove, possibly out towards Marshall, since it's been quite a bit here. Let's look at our Doppler radar and see if we have any update there. Yeah, just heavy rainfall. If we're seeing anything, it's going to be rain wrap too, so you shouldn't be peeking out and trying to get any idea of what's headed our way here. Let me check our debris tracker really quick and see if anything, we can glean any information there. Again, it was over Maple Bluff. Yeah, that out towards Middleton. That looks like that may have been something on the west side of Lake Mendota. And then again, kind of going in with Maple Bluff, we very well may have seen some sort of quick spin up in that region a short bit ago. Do we have any cameras, anything we can pull on the east side of Madison that might show us something? Yeah, can we pull that? East Washington at Wisconsin 30. It's probably not. This is right essentially in it, or was in it. You can see traffic moving smoothly. The rain is coming down, obviously. We're not really seeing that area. And again, we're just kind of waiting on that area of rotation to finally give us some update here. Goodness gracious. It's been 5 minutes now since we've had any of this, and there's a tornado warning. So we're waiting on this right now. But again, Cottage Grove, Pierceville, Marshall, York, Sun Prairie, out towards Waterloo. Waterloo, you're not even in that warning. But if this holds together, this is something that we're going to want to keep very close eye on. Let's jump back down to Rock County really quick here.
Yeah, Cam, they just actually extended that tornado warning into the western portion of Walworth County.
Okay, yep, I see that. Okay. So we're seeing that, yep. And there's again, let's see if we have any, we don't have any debris signature within it. The rotation is broad. Can you give a, let's see what they said here. What have they said about that warning out in Walworth?
Looks like things are still continuing to make their way to the northeast, still moving at 30 miles per hour, so really not much of a change since that last warning.
Okay. And is this is radar indicated rotation? This is, at one point we did have a spotter say that a tornado was on the ground in Rock County.
Yes. So we are still actually having some spotters, Cam, say that they are still seeing some of that rotation and some lowering, but it does not sound like we have anything actively going on right now.
Good. Okay, so yeah, obviously there is rotation. This is the type of storm that you don't want to mess around with. So again, 30 miles per hour from that spot that we're watching. We have been watching, essentially right here, moving northeast. So we'll just call it Hart Prairie within the next 30 minutes or so. That doesn't really give us all that much information. Let's zoom in a little bit, maybe you can get a little bit more. But again, you're moving into western Walworth County, northwestern Walworth County, so the areas north and west of Delavan, Sugar Creek, LaGrange, south of Whitewater. Those are the areas of concern. Let's jump back up to, all right, finally we have an update here for our rotation for the Dane County tornado warning. Goodness gracious, it took long enough. You can see we had about 7 or 8 minutes between updates there. The rotation has certainly weakened significantly. Now we're looking more, and you can kind of see by the structure that the National Weather Service has kind of changed that warning up. You can see the way this is shaped. They're concerned about this Boeing line of fast-moving air out towards Burke right now. This is east of Sprecher Road, out towards Cottage, pushing out towards Cottage Grove, Pierceville. If you're in Sun Prairie, you have not seen the worst of this yet, okay? So you have this Boeing line of thunderstorm activity out towards Burke. This is, so if you've ever been on the east side of Madison, south of Sun Prairie, you're looking essentially, here's Stoughton Road right here. Sprecher Road moves north towards Sun Prairie. You have the Costco and Target area on the west side of Sun Prairie there. This is what this is approaching right now. So as this passes east out towards County Road N, directly essentially over the 90 corridor, south of Sun Prairie, you're talking damaging straight line winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. Now here's the deal. Because you have this Boeing line, this Boeing structure here, you can have rotation essentially fire up anywhere along that. So we had what looked like possibly a debris signature near Lake Mendota a short bit ago. This is possibly now on the southwest side of Sun Prairie. You have the west side of Cottage Grove. You're probably seeing those winds really pick up. Winds are whipping, and it's possible all the while, especially again, watch where our radar's coming from. Radar's coming from east-southeast. So you're getting reds moving away, greens moving toward. The way this is moving, this is broad rotation here. Not so much out towards Blooming Grove or Cottage Grove. That looks like more straight line wind threat. But if you're getting this kind of direction here, anywhere along this little disturbance from the areas north of Burke, west of Sun Prairie, you can have a quick spin up tornado or little rope funnel kind of drop down. There's nothing on our debris tracker. That's the good news. But again, folks, if you're anywhere near this region, if you're near Sun Prairie right now, out towards York, Marshall, Deerfield, Cottage Grove, Sun Prairie, anywhere between those communities, please get to that safe spot. Again, this could be damaging wind threat, and you can even see here kind of this little notch in our velocity data. And out towards Reiner Road, this is just east of Burke, south of West Main Street in Sun Prairie. This could be, again, red's moving away, green's moving toward. That could be just enough to kick up a little bit of a funnel cloud in parts of Dane County. Let's jump back down towards Rock County. This is east of Emerald Grove. You see those brighter greens? Again, green moving toward. There's not a ton of evidence there that we're dealing with. Maybe some rotation. I'm not really seeing a ton of it. Let's check our storm relative velocity data. Maybe they're near Emerald Grove, on the north end of Emerald Grove. It's not strong, but there's something there. Okay, so we call this between Emerald Grove and Johnstown, right here. So you have those darker greens in red, brighter greens moving toward our radar site. That looks to be our best threat of tornadic activity at this time. We have no debris signature. That's the good news. But it is right in the middle of that hail core. So it might just be, again, that rotating area of air that is creating that hail core as well. So that's something to keep in mind on top of this. Janesville, Johnstown, just seeing a ton of hail potentially this evening. Have you seen anything, Emma, out of the National Weather Service? Have they mentioned anything about the Dane County warning?
So that warning, they actually did just kind of throw a severe thunderstorm warning on top of the end of that, so a little bit east of Sun Prairie, and then that continues southward. It includes a lot of areas that were not previously in a warning. It looks like that is going to be in effect until, let me get this pulled up here quick. That's going to last until 7:15 p.m.
Okay.
Not much about the tornado warning itself, though.
Okay. Yeah, and the velocity data is not necessarily, I mean, it looks more like a straight line wind threat just with the bowing structure of those strong straight line winds. And even looking at the Doppler radar here as well, you can see kind of that bowing structure to the heaviest of that rainfall. And there's not really any structural parts of our Doppler radar reflectivity that's indicating any threat of rotation at this time. But again, that tornado warning on the north side of Madison into parts of northeastern Dane County was concerning for a bit, mainly because, one, its location, two, we saw that brief, what looked like potentially a debris signature. I'd be surprised if we didn't have reports of wind damage at least out towards Middleton, possibly the Maple Bluff neighborhoods. It's possible we could see some of that. We digging up. I'm sorry, were you going to say something?
I was just going to say, we did have a loop of the last hour. It's looking north from the Atmospheric Science Building, kind of in the direction, but, you know, it's far away because of the lake. I couldn't necessarily make anything out. I was just kind of looking to see if we could see anything happening with what was, you know, potentially a brief touchdown or little rotation a little closer to the surface.
Yeah, it's a little tough to tell unless you threw that in slow motion. You can see the cell in question come on through towards the end, or yeah, I want to see that one more time. There it is, right there. Oh, there's something there. That might just be scud at the bottom, but that is absolutely a wall cloud. You can kind of see that structure. Right over Lake Mendota, right where we saw the rotation. So if you're trying to figure out your bearings here, Middleton's essentially this way, passing over Lake Mendota. Maple Bluff is kind of over here. And so this is all passing over, and you can kind of see some structures kind of dipping down underneath that cloud over Lake Mendota. Now that could just be scud dropping down from the bottom of the cloud. That tends to happen when you have severe thunderstorms. You get kind of nasty looking clouds that are hanging down. Those are called scud clouds. A lot of times people mistake those for funnel clouds. It's a little tough to tell. Again, we're far away, but that is that is something interesting right there. So it'll be interesting to see if we have any reports of either wind damage, structural damage out from the areas west of Lake Mendota and then again east of Lake Mendota. So it looks like we may have had a rotating cell go directly over Madison's North Lake here a short while ago. Let's jump back to our, there we go, we got this back up. There's a little bit of something here. So you can kind of see red's moving away, green's moving toward. You got a little bit of a rotation couplet just west of Pierceville. It's not necessarily impressive, but there's a little something there. And possibly a little debris to go along with that. So just south of Sun Prairie towards Pierceville, east of Seminary Springs. It might not be anything, but I tell you what, folks, if you're anywhere near that area, please, again, just be safe. Use your, just be safe. Get to that safe spot. Here, we're just going to go out and just do a whole line out east. This was moving east at, you said 30 miles per hour, Emma?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to zoom out just a smidge here so we can get that kind of line. We're just going to do the entire line instead of trying to do a point because, again, this anywhere within this structure, you could have the potential of some rotation. So these are the communities in the general path of this rotating area of wind near Sun Prairie. So essentially on top of Sun Prairie right now, though again, it looks like the worst of that strong straight line wind and rotation threat is south of Sun Prairie. Still, I want you to be in your safe spots. Marshall 644, Waterloo 652, Lake Mills 658, Johnson Creek at 712. That's more than enough time to get to that safe spot. Again, lowest level of the structure or business that you're in and away from exterior windows and walls. Let's jump back down. Ooh. Okay. We could be seeing more of a rotation couplet here out towards Johnstown in Rock County. Let's look at that storm relative velocity. Yeah, that's kind of all the while there, right on your screen there. This warning again until 6:45 for portions of Walworth County as well as Rock County. Let's see if we have any debris signature out here. This is where we, a little bit. What do you think? Emma, what do you think about this? We're looking, it's broad.
Yeah.
And that debris signature isn't exactly strong, but there's definitely something there. And this might just be straight line winds again.
I'm kind of curious about if you move east a little bit, if there's a debris signature there. Oh gosh, that's hard to tell. I'm looking on my end too, and it's kind of tough. It looks like they kind of cut off that tornado warning there too.
Did they?
Yeah, it looks like, oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Maybe they must have been tailoring.
They're they're just tailoring it. Yeah, this has kind of been a frustrating cell to follow throughout Rock County. I mean, we saw this originally south of the state line, south and west of Beloit. It had triggered tornado warnings there. It had a very, essentially, fairly organized rotation couplet. No concerning debris signature, though we did, once it moved over the state line, it rolled through Beloit on Janesville's southeast side. There was at least one report of a tornado on the ground.
Yeah, Cam, actually, really good timing. They actually just added in a storm report for southeastern Janesville due to multiple reports of a tornado on the ground. It looks like the time that they're placing that at is around 6:05.
6:05. So let's roll our velocity tracker back to 6:05. Southeast end of Janesville. And that's right when they issued that warning. So you can kind of see again, and we'll look at our debris tracker. There's not a lot there, so this might have just been a very quick touchdown. But there's definitely, you see those reds and those, I'm going to go to our storm relative velocity. Yeah, those reds and greens are kind of, they're kind of hanging out with each other, and that tends to be when you get those quick spin-ups, right? You don't have really a organized, perfect rotation couplet, but you very well could see that quick spin-up or very quick rope tornado dropping down, touching down, and kind of hopping back up. Okay, so the Rock County, we're still kind of watching that. If you are anywhere northwestern Walworth County, so south of Whitewater, southwest of LaGrange, near Sugar Creek, northwest of Delavan. This whole area right here in the direct path of a lot of, I'm not going to call it uncertainty because we've seen quite a bit of rotation within it, but we've kind of seen very quick spin-ups, right? Some evidence, and then that next sweep comes on through, and that evidence of rotation has gone away, and then kind of so on and so forth. So that's something to keep in mind. Back up to the Dane County tornado warning. Again, kind of a bowing structure. It's past Pierceville now. No evidence of debris. That's the good news. This warning until 6:45 as well. It is 6:33, so another 12 minutes or so. This does not seem to be moving as fast as it was at one time either. That is the good news. All right, so we have 2 tornado warnings. We're past the 6:30 mark, so let's kind of do a reset and kind of talk about where we are in the evening. Okay, so this is us, right? We go from Grant County. You're in the clear. Your severe weather threat has come to an end. Iowa County, Lafayette County, Sauk County, Richland County, Crawford County, Juneau Adams County. I would even say there's some storms out towards Toma right now. We did have a severe thunderstorm warning out that way a short while ago. I would almost be ready to say that essentially Juneau and Adams County, you're out of the worst of it. You may still see some additional thunderstorms. And the areas I'm mentioning may still see isolated showers and thunderstorms, but the threat of severe weather for those areas, again, west of Dane County, essentially has come to an end. That being said, if you are in Dane County, if you are in Sauk County, okay. I just saw a blinking red box in Rock County. That is a flash flood warning, and that's something that we're going to talk about here in a moment as well. If you are west of Dane County, your threat of severe weather has come to an end. Even most of Sauk County, western Columbia County, Marquette County, your severe weather threat has come to an end as well. If you are in Greene County, Dane County, eastern Columbia County, Dodge County, Jefferson County, Walworth, Rock County, your severe weather threat is still technically on. That cold front has not come and gone quite yet. Now, before we talk about severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings, we have seen our fair share of rainfall these last 12 hours. We've seen our fair share of rainfall over the last week. Significant flooding across parts of southern Wisconsin, and that is a part of tonight's story as well. Anywhere you're seeing green on your screen, that's an indicator of inch-plus estimated rainfall. If you're seeing yellow on your screen, especially out towards Rock County, Greene County, Lafayette County, portions of Iowa County, even portions of Dane County, even into portions of Dodge County, you're seeing up to 2 inches of rainfall. The areas of orange, only a few of them, you can see western Rock County, back out towards portions Lafayette, Grant County, and across potentially portions of central Lafayette County as well. That's up to 3+ inches of estimated rainfall. That is a ton of rain to come down just in a few hours. You'll remember, we didn't have storms fire up until about 4 or 5 hours ago. So we continue to see this threat of flooding. Those floodwaters are going to continue to rise over the next several days, creeks, rivers across the area. So that is going to continue to be a story that we are watching over the next several days, through the weekend and well into next week. Let's talk about warnings now, because we still have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings, multiple tornado warnings out. We currently have warnings in effect for portions of Walworth County, Jefferson County, far eastern Dodge County, parts of Dane County, Rock County, Greene County. Those are severe thunderstorm warnings. We've seen reports of damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. We have seen hail reports of up to 2 inches in diameter. Yes, 2 inches in diameter is significant. Thankfully, it's not as significant as what we saw this past Tuesday with that 3+ inches diameter hail coming down across the area. We have 2 tornado warnings. Both are until 6:45. It is currently 6:37. So we're going to stick with coverage until these tornado warnings expire, or until the National Weather Service decides for them to be over and done with. Let's talk about those tornado warnings right now. First, in eastern Dane County at this time, we are watching this area of kind of bowing strong winds, these brighter greens. What we measure with our velocity tracker is the movement of winds and how fast it's happening. You just saw our radar sweep go by. The radar we are using to measure this right now is in eastern Jefferson County. That is due east of this image I'm showing you on your screen. Red is an indicator that the air is essentially either remaining still or moving away. Green is that it is moving toward. Okay, the brighter the colors, the faster the movement. So you have that green moving toward, red moving away. With the position of this warning, you would have to have essentially green on the bottom, red on the top for a rotation couplet. We don't really have that. We have some broad rotation, and this has kind of been the case for this warning ever since it was issued when the storm was over parts of Middleton, over Lake Mendota. We've had some broad rotation, more of a strong straight line wind threat with this. And you'll also notice there is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for this same area as well. We have an additional tornado warning that is currently over parts of Rock County. And unfortunately, this is just kind of messy. We're not really seeing much. There's some evidence of some very strong winds embedded within this area right now. Near Bradford. Are we getting any reports, Emma, of anything significant out this way? Near Bradford, Avalon, Johnstown.
There is a National Weather Service actually just did send out what their greatest area of concern is with this tornado warning, and it looks to actually be right on the county line in between Rock and Walworth counties.
Okay.
And yes, that is right by Bradford as I zoom in.
Okay. Yeah, there's a few of these areas that are just kind of a little concerning, and there's not one specific area that's of concern that I can necessarily see. What kind of stood out was this area north of Bradford, south and west of Johnstown, just because you have those bright greens and bright reds together. But if you look at it, again, green's moving toward, red moving away. There's not really that rotation structure. That might just be some strong straight line winds east of Emerald Grove, kind of embedded within the system, or potentially hail. What is interesting, though, is you also have this, right where we're seeing that area of rotation, kind of have this indentation in our thunderstorm. And sometimes, especially on the south end of a storm like you're seeing right here, that can be what's called an inflow notch on a supercellular thunderstorm. Now, this isn't necessarily a supercellular thunderstorm right now. It's kind of part of a much larger glob of rainfall. But that can be the beginnings, or at least show some evidence of some stronger rotation at the surface. And it's, again, it's just kind of hard to pull out anything that's necessarily of note with this system specifically.
Hey, Cam, just a couple of quick things to add on to what you're talking about. We're getting reports that more than 2,000 are out of power in the Janesville area from Alliant Energy. And then on top of that, we also just got a report from emergency management in Rock County letting us know to let the public know to only call them if it is an emergency that is threatening health or life. It sounds like they're kind of getting inundated with calls about the weather, all of the flash flooding that's occurring in that area. So just, a general message to folks as, emergency management does their best to try to help everyone that they can.
Yeah, and that's the problem here with this, because you can see not only are we dealing with a tornadic threat, obviously power outage is something to be concerned about. But you can see these darker red boxes extending from Orfordville to Janesville. That's a flash flood warning for that area. And Emma just was mentioning flash flooding being a concern. Let's look at the amount of rainfall that's come down in this area. Look at this. That's 3+ inches of rainfall from Broadhead out towards Janesville in essentially 2 to 3 hours. That is a ton of water and has nowhere to go. We are already very saturated. We've had a ton of rain this week. In fact, if we look at it, we could just do a 5-day estimate of rainfall. Look at this. These are the last 5 days of estimated rain. The blue is 8 inches. I'm not even sure what the gray is. I would assume possibly 10 inches. This is wild. This is estimated rainfall over the last 5 days. And you can kind of see that area in particular Greene County, Rock County, completely inundated with heavy rain. This is the entire week. This is since Monday. And when you have this much rain in such a short stretch, it has nowhere else to go. So maybe the first Monday and Tuesday, when we had all that rain, that hail, the severe weather threat late Monday night into Tuesday morning, you know, the rain has some place to go. Gets saturated, you know, the ground can absorb some of that. But after days and days and days of rain, you have nowhere to go. The ground is already saturated, so it just sits and it floods, and that's what we're dealing with right now. So you can see Janesville out towards Monroe, just an absolute ton of rainfall. A few more areas to highlight: western and northwestern Dane County, back out towards Dodgeville. The areas north of Jefferson, right along the Jefferson, Dodge County border, ton of rainfall there. That looks to be an upwards of 6+ inches of rain, but really it is, again, parts of northern Rock County, western Rock County, central and southwestern Greene County, seeing just an absolute ton of rainfall over the last 5 days alone. So again, Emma just reading out what the emergency management in Rock County is saying, unless life is truly at risk, please do not reach out to emergency management. They're working on it. They're getting their job done as best as they can. But what's happening out in Rock County right now, the flooding concern, the tornadic concern, the rain, the wind, the hail, this is all unfortunate to say the least. And we've seen the hail threat fairly significant. Finally, the hail moving out of Rock County, but into northwestern Walworth County right now, potentially up to, I would say, up to about an inch, possibly 1.5 inches hail south and east of Whitewater, west of LaGrange. So it's kind of just a unfortunate situation all around for those of you in Rock County. I hope you're staying safe this evening as best as you can.
Yeah, Cam, one thing to point out, just where you were looking with that hail towards LaGrange, they actually did just extend that tornado warning or add a new one in northern Walworth County. I know we're kind of starting to move out of our area, but there is a report of a rotation wall cloud in that area. I'm seeing a little bit of some rotation in the velocity, not really seeing much in terms of any debris, though.
Yeah, there's definitely something there. It's not necessarily strong, and that's kind of been the issue with this cell that's, and it looks like they've canceled that warning for Eastern Rock County. So the Eastern Rock County, it's 6:45. So the Eastern Rock County warning, but then we have, here we go.
Oh, looks like.
That is a tight rotation couplet east of Marshall, west of Waterloo. This is a new tornado warning for Dane County and Jefferson County, Dodge County until 7:30. It is radar indicated rotation. So remember when I said, depending on, all right, this is interesting. I literally, 5-6 minutes ago said you would have to have the red on top, green on the bottom to really talk about area of rotation. That is exactly what we're seeing right along Wisconsin 19. So this is that area of rotation just west of Waterloo. Folks, if you're in Waterloo, you need to be in your safe spot. Not minutes from now, right now. This is particularly, and there's some difference of density over that rotation couplet. That might just be strong winds. But folks, I don't want you to fool around with this. If you are in the areas, most of Dane County is good to go. If you are north and east of Marshall, be in your safe spot. Out towards Waterloo, York, you're good to go. You're not in the path of this. Moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. I want to follow the trajectory of this storm. Okay, it's essentially due northeast. So at 30 miles per hour, here are the folks in the direct path. You're not going to see much in the way of communities here, folks, but Shields at 7:09, Watertown at 7:15. This is a decent little couplet. Again, Waterloo, this is on your immediate southwest side of the city right now. This looks like this is going to be moving up Wisconsin 19 through Waterloo, following 19 out towards Shields. Emmett, Watertown, Old Lebanon, Kleiman, all in kind of that general vicinity. But again, this is, you have red moving away, green moving toward. You have the brighter greens and reds kind of butting heads with each other, and this is exactly what we're talking about here. Emma, if you see anything from the National Weather Service, please chime in, because this is about as defined of a rotation couple as we've seen throughout the day today.
Yeah, definitely. Nothing in from them right now, but I will definitely keep everyone updated.
Okay. We're not really seeing anything. Again, this could just be some strong straight line winds at the surface. This is essentially the type of thunderstorm we've seen. Kind of had a bowing structure to it, but I was mentioning earlier that anywhere within that bowing line, we could see a little kink or a little bit of a nodule or a notch, and that could very quickly create what may end up being a spin-up tornado. Nothing on the nothing on the reflectivity that gives us any more evidence there. But again, Waterloo and the areas of Wisconsin 19, absolutely being that safe spot now. We're talking areas south of Wisconsin 16, out towards Reeseville potentially. Let's say, what is this? Roadway here. I'm having a hard time reading it. Wisconsin 89, those areas north and east of Wisconsin 89, east of Waterloo. Again, if you're anywhere near any of the locations I'm talking about, please be in that safe spot. Lowest level of the structure you're in, away from exterior windows or walls. Basement, crawl space, cellar is going to be your best bet. If you only have that first floor, that's okay. Interior hallway, closet, washroom without windows on the exterior wall, okay? And do me a favor, if you're going to that safe spot, do a couple things for me. Grab a pair of tennis shoes, gym shoes, boots, something like that. Throw them on. I understand it's going to feel a little silly, and yes, if you have a bike helmet that's within reach and you have a few minutes to go and grab it, or say it's out in the garage, you got a few seconds to spare to grab it, do that, toss that on. Because again, I've seen multiple times in my career where folks are hunkered down from a tornado, they get some structural damage, something like that, and they're not wearing shoes, they're wearing socks, they're wearing maybe slippers. That's not what you want to be walking around debris with. On top of that, anything that you can put between your head and potential debris or damage is going to keep you safe in a situation. Again, it sounds silly. Bike helmet, boots, have them ready to go. Something like that.
Hey, Cam, sorry
Yes.
to quick interrupt you here, just from the National Weather Service. They are a little bit concerned about seeing a few spin-ups along that line as it continues its way northeast into Jefferson and Dodge counties.
Okay.
I'm still not seeing a whole lot on velocity on the area that they're concerned about, aside from what you've already pointed out, but just something to keep in mind as we move forward here.
Yeah, and we just got a new velocity kind of return in, and you can kind of see, whereas originally we had that nice area of rotation with our last little loop here. You can see it again, bright greens, bright reds, right by Waterloo. We've kind of gone back to more of a line of storms that's not ideal, right, for tornadic development. You kind of have these areas of wind that are kind of curling in, right? And I'm going to draw it on the screen for you here. It's a little tough to tell, but again, you kind of have those reds moving away, green moving towards, so maybe a little bit of a notch right there. Reds moving away, green moving towards. So you might have like two separate areas of broad rotation. Neither of them are strong, but certainly you don't like to see two of them. Let's look at our debris tracker right now. It's that southern one. There's a little something there. I'm not sure that's really anything. But yes, again, those areas that I mentioned, Waterloo to Watertown, Shields, Emmett, right along Wisconsin 19, you got to be in that safe spot now, because there's enough kind of disturbance there to warrant at least a concern. Looking at what's happening in northern, we got just Delavan just had a severe or a tornado warning. That way. That's more Milwaukee's kind of area, but we'll talk about it briefly and then kind of move back up to northwestern Walworth County. And you can see this is a pretty decent little rotation couple as well. Again, green moving toward, red moving away, kind of curling in on each other there. Let's look at the debris signature on this. There's nothing really on the debris signature. But again, if you have, this is more folks out in, towards Milwaukee. So we'll let the Milwaukee meteorologist kind of take this warning on. But what's happening here, if you have friends, family who live in Delavan, East Delavan, Elkhorn, Geneva, Lake Geneva region, shoot them a text, give them a call, let them know, hey, there's a storm to be concerned about, there's a storm to watch. Certainly do that. So you can see this right along Route 12, LaGrange near Lauderdale. Definitely seeing some areas of weak rotation. Thank you, Amber. Amber just brought me a water. So we're watching this area of rotation kind of near LaGrange at this time. There's really not much there. That's the good news. The unfortunate news is that tornado warning remains in effect for northern Walworth County until 7:15. So we're still watching these. Let's jump back up to that warning in parts of western Dodge County out towards Waterloo, and parts of, northwestern Jefferson County, out towards Waterloo. Again, not seeing any true evidence, but again, with the way this is kind of set up, you have these almost two potential areas of concern that might be creating some broad rotation. We're not really seeing the tight rotation we saw west of Waterloo a short while ago, but altogether still active to say the least. Let's check our debris tracker and see if we have anything on our screen here. We've got nothing, no debris. That's good news. Have any storm reports come in, Emma, out of National Weather Service? Because I'm interested to see if anything was reported from Dane County with that tornado warning.
Nothing yet.
Okay. Yeah, when we saw that the video from the ASOS building at UW of that supercellular thunderstorm rolling in over parts of Lake Mendota, that was interesting to say the least. We're approaching the 7 o'clock hour, so let's kind of hit the reset button and talk about where we are on this evening, how things are going, right? We've got that cold front moving across the area. Here's what we're seeing. You can still see plenty of boxes. There are yellow boxes, green, goldenrod, red, dark red. There's a lot going on, even if things are starting to wind down for many of us. Again, if you are in, we're going to call for Juneau and Adams County, your severe weather threat has come to an end. Grant County, Lafayette, Iowa counties. If you are west of Madison, your threat of severe weather has come to an end. Still potentially seeing some flooding and wind threat on the east side of Madison, eastern Dane County right now. But if you're west of Madison, your threat of severe weather has come to an end. Most of Columbia, we'll call Columbia County as well, your threats come to an end. Green Lake County, Marquette County, your threat of severe weather has officially concluded. However, if you are in eastern Dane County, if you are in Rock County, if you're in Walworth County, Jefferson County, Dodge County, you're not out of the woods yet. That's where we're focused, because as this cold front marches eastward, it will eventually bring an end to our severe weather threat, but that's not where we are quite yet. In fact, we can pull our cold front up here. Here's where our cold front currently lies. In fact, we could even update that once again on our screen and kind of move that over a little bit and kind of just keep everyone up to date with where this is all headed. Cold front's essentially now directly over Madison, moving in. You can see some redevelopment of that system on the back edge for parts of far northern and northwestern Wisconsin. I'm not really expecting any sort of redevelopment in our area. You can see some of those showers and storms to the west of us, but that's not necessarily our severe weather threat. So our cold front continues to drag further off to the east. We still have that tornado watch in effect technically through 8 o'clock. For a large chunk of the area, though, I would assume National Weather Service is going to start chopping some of these watches off over the next little bit here. You can still see multiple tornado warnings in effect across far northern Jefferson County, southern Dodge County, Walworth County technically has those warnings still in effect as well. But one thing I want to pull up really quick here is what our temperatures look like. Temperatures may not seem all that important in this situation, but I'm going to tell you here, you can see things are really cooling off. La Crosse is down to 49 degrees in the back edge of the system. Temperatures are going to tank once this system officially comes and goes. You can see we were up to temperatures near 80 degrees earlier on. It is way too cool to sustain any chances of severe weather in Madison, Mineral Point, Lone Rock at this point. But look at out towards Burlington, it's still 74 degrees there. Milwaukee, some rain cool there at 63. Also Lakeside, probably not helping. Still 68 in Watertown, though. Again, our severe weather threat is slowly coming to an end here, and over the next, I would say, hour or so, the entire area will be officially in the clear. So that is the good news. The unfortunate news is we still do have multiple warnings. We have multiple threats in essentially many ways at this point. So we're going to detail those really quick here. Looking at our Doppler radar again, multiple severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings on your screen. In fact, we can get a better look at that just talking about our watches and warnings. You can see the areas of orange. So southeastern Dane County, Jefferson County, all of Rock County, parts of Walworth County. Severe thunderstorm warning at least for the next 15 to about 20 minutes. These darker areas of red, those are your flash flood warnings that remain in effect. Tons of rainfall coming down this week, exacerbating flooding issues. The green boxes on your screen, those are flood advisories. So localized flooding, so roadways, fields, possibly creeks, stuff like that, certainly flooding up and could cause havoc for travel. But it's the flash flooding that is truly dangerous, the amount of water we've seen. Obviously, the red on your screen, those are tornado warnings, and it looks like the National Weather Service, Emma, has dropped the tornado warning for northern Jefferson, southern Dodge County.
Yes, so they did just cancel that. And just one other quick note, while we were talking about that flash flooding towards Janesville, we actually have a quick video of what is going on.
Gosh. Yeah,
Water over the roadway.
Okay, Emma, if you could just repeat everything you just said a second ago. Your microphone cut out for a moment.
Oh, yes. So this video is in the Janesville area. And then, this isn't necessarily where this video is from, but we also have a full closure reported on WIS 104 in both directions. That's in the Broadhead area in Rock County as well.
Goodness gracious, look at that. And this is what we mean when we're talking about flash flooding, right?
Mm-hmm. And and the other thing, we were talking earlier about emergency management in Rock County, talking about kind of being inundated with calls right now. They just sent another message saying that they are functioning just very busy. That call volume, as we can guess from that video, is very heavy. They're reporting down trees, of course, flooding, stranded motorists. A lot going on right now in Rock County.
If again, as long as life is not in danger, maybe wait to call emergency management out in Rock County right now. That video is just incredible to see. You hate to see it because we've been covering it all week. Flooding has been a significant concern for southern Wisconsin the last several days, and I think the most striking thing that we can see right now is, again, estimated rainfall totals for the last 5 days since this past Monday. I think the image speaks for itself. You have to use the legend because you're not exactly sure what you're looking at. Once you get to this gray, you're well beyond 8 inches of rainfall. I believe that's 10 plus inches of rain potentially for the areas near Janesville out towards Orfordville, Broadhead. It's devastating. That's an absolute ton of rain. And again, the rain that came down Monday, Tuesday, that was absorbed by the ground. But the problem was once we had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there was no more area for that water to go. So the rain we're getting today, which even over the last 12 hours, if we look at this area, is now potentially 4 inches. That's too much rain in about a 4 to 5 hour stretch. That is why we're seeing this flash flooding. That's the unfortunate thing here. And now folks are going to be having to deal with that for quite some time. Okay, so we are now officially 7:02. We still have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for a large chunk of the region. We are still watching tornado warnings in parts of Walworth County, though that is starting to move east, or this is starting to move east of our kind of purview. Okay, so we're going to stick with this for a few more minutes, and then we're going to let, as long as the National Weather Service doesn't issue any additional warnings for our area, tornado warnings, we're going to return folks to their normal programming for the evening. But I just want to take one quick look at what we're dealing with here in parts of northern Walworth County. You have LaGrange, Elkhorn. Both of those essentially are where we're seeing the greatest threats of rotation right now. It's nothing necessarily significant in either. And Emma, chime in if the National Weather Service has mentioned anything about these areas recently as far as severe weather threat goes.
Nothing ongoing. They did share that they just got a video shared of a possible brief weak tornado north of Delavan.
Okay.
Of course, the threat has kind of made its way out of that area,
Okay.
but just, something that, may have occurred recently.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing. So once we get past Delavan, we're starting to get towards the Milwaukee station. So since that's being said, we're going to step off here, I think, at this time. Things are beginning to wind down. Obviously, we'll continue to cut in if any additional warnings are issued. But the good news is that essentially right on cue, our severe weather threat between 7 and 8 officially coming to an end. You can see the National Weather Service maintaining the tornado watches for the time being. That is going to change as well in the coming hour or so. Obviously, those tornado watches only through 8 o'clock. But at this time, we still do have severe thunderstorm watches for portions of Jefferson County, southeastern Dane County, parts of Rock County and Walworth County. But the tornado warnings that we're dealing with right now are now starting to move out of our purview into parts of the Milwaukee station. So we're going to let those Milwaukee stations take care of that. But I tell you what, keep it here to 27 for continuing coverage on these storms throughout the remainder of the evening. If another warning is issued, we will let you know where that storm is, where it's headed, and what threats are facing those areas. Keep it here to 27 for continuing coverage on these storms as they roll through the area.